hypersensitive azeratometer sensor.
Azerite?
Sure. Oh, it's a mining person. That's why. I was like, why do you have weird shit?
Azerito.
Azerito.
I have to see this. I have to see how far off you were from its spelling. Where is it?
I wasn't off on its spelling. It's right. This guy.
Oh, Azeritometer.
Yeah,
okay.
I
was like, why did it come out sound like burrito? I had to figure out how you got there.
That's how it's spelled.
Because sometimes I get your pronunciations and I look at the word and I'm like, oh, you just stopped reading it.
There's a lot of words I just don't like to say, so I just make up a better way to say it.
Sometimes you hit the first syllable and then just make the rest up. You're like, oh, it looks like it's about 3 syllables maybe. and you just like say completely random phrases and sentences. Like, all right. I don't know how he got there, but I respect his journey. I support his journey.
It's exactly how
we only have 5 levels to go.
We do only have 5 levels to go. How spooky.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do when we reach max level?
I don't know. Quit. You know what we didn't do last session is.
I was gonna say we haven't actually done any instances.
I still haven't played most of the dungeons in this expansion. I've only played Waycrest Manor over and over again. Not on purpose. Do you have dirty work for dirty drinks? I guess we mostly diverged on quests like we usually do ever since we've been in like most of this playthrough, honestly. We fall off pretty hard on sticking together just because it's a lot of work to actually be at the same spot questing. Although it's funny, I covered Battle for Azeroth for a bit when it first came out, and I played Waycrest Manor back then. And then I randomly got invited to do like Mythic dungeons, I think they're called, with Nick, just once. And there's a whole system apparently where if you do Mythic because like the dungeons have difficulties. There's like normal, then heroic, and Mythic, and then Mythic plus 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 or something like that, where it keeps iterating, kind of like Diablo, where it keeps getting harder.
Yeah.
So what you do is you unlock harder and harder versions of the same dungeon, and you have to try to beat the dungeon on a high difficulty under a time limit with sometimes additional multipliers on it that fuck it up and make it hard. Kind of like when we were playing those weird variations of Overwatch story missions.
Yeah.
And your reward for doing so is that once a week there's a chest in the capital city of this expansion that gives you a reward based on the highest level mythic thing you're able to clear that week. So it gives you a reward based on how well you did. It's an interesting little system to keep you going and kind of infinitely play, but I never really got invited to another session of that, and I didn't really have particular desire to like organize it. My original plan was for us to join the raiding once we hit max level, but it's a fair amount of work to get there, so we would probably never make it just in our weekly sessions. It would pretty much just take you having the personal drive to like grind your character up to get like the gear to be able to go on raids. But at the same time, I'm not even sure if that's worth it, because it seems like I got on the boat just in time to experience some raids right at the last second, and then they're like really petering out. Right now, what they do is the guild meets once a week, and what they do, and during that once a week meeting, they immediately use the exploit approach to down Jaina, to try to get 2 more people in the guild to have the mount because they're just farming the mount. And then they go into the Lovecraft dungeon, and they in about an hour they clear their way to the final boss by skipping all the optional stuff, and they're just there to kill the final boss because it gives you like a core that's useful for something.
Okay.
But they're pretty much just killing time waiting for the expansion, it seems. There's not really much like ambitious raiding going on, and you don't even get to like experience full playthroughs of raids or anything at this point. So it's kind of a bummer.
That's really depressing sounding.
Yeah, it's just it's the phase of of pre-expansion WoW, where it's like there's an expansion coming.
Expansion coming, nobody do anything.
Yeah, because there's an aspect of like, why does anything matter? In this expansion, once you do enough quests, you get a cape, and that cape, because like there's a corruption stat in this expansion, where items are corrupted. I don't think you've encountered one yet. I think you might have to be max level first. But there's purple items in this game that are corrupted, and those corrupted items, how do I put this? They give you like this corruption stat that makes random like Lovecrafty things happen periodically, basically. If that makes any sense. Like tentacles coming at you, or a slow effect. It's like bad things happen to you, but usually the item's more powerful or something. So you get like you get a good bonus and a bad bonus, and the bad bonus is usually pretty bad, like disruptive and random and stuff. So the cape gives you corruption resistance, because the bad effects happening to you is based on what your current corruption level is, and corruption resistance is a direct subtraction from that level. So if you have a more equal corruption resistance to your corruption, then you don't suffer any of the negative effects of corruption.
Makes sense.
So there's a few. I think there's some ways to get it, but the main thing is there's a cape you get from doing a bunch of story quests, and that gives you some corruption resistance. And then doing this really intensive grinding thing based around like daily quests and weekly events and so on. Lets you level that cape up, which keeps increasing its corruption resistance and its stats, kind of like the Heart of Azeroth we're wearing on our neck.
Yeah.
So it's essentially two like infinitely grindable things. So right now that's that's basically the endless treadmill that people are playing on right now. Is it doesn't even serve a purpose necessarily, because like arguably the final content is the Lovecraft raid, and they've already got it on farm, so. They're just farming it to get cores to level up their cape over and over again, just because, I guess. Like I think it's just because you just want something to do every day when you play WoW, or something.
That doesn't seem really reassuring when you're like, all right, well, we've already got the final raid on lock.
Yeah,
everyone already has the.
It's just the part where everyone runs out of content to do, and they kind of just make up a goal. So instead of doing like even when I started raiding with them a few weeks. Maybe a couple months ago now at this point, back then, like I got a few like full clears of dungeons. I got to play the entire dungeons and whatnot. But right now, you just they're very clearly just waiting for the next expansion to come out, and in fact, some of them are just playing the beta for the expansion. And so they do like a really flaccid brief.
Why would you want to play the beta now? You're just gonna run out of content faster.
Yeah, they'll just do it again when it comes out. That's always what happens. I don't think your progress carries over when you play betas of expansions.
Well, no,
I don't know. They're just lifelong WoW players, and so it's the forever thing that they'll do. It's the same reason why they're on the treadmill to level up that thing that doesn't necessarily do anything, because the reason to level it up is a thing they've already beaten, and there's no real additional goals to have.
That's. This just all sounds so confusing.
Yeah. You just have a bunch of progression systems that you get yourself to care about. And I've now that I've seen the scale of everything, and I've already succeeded at like getting to the point where I can raid, and then I've been through the raiding experience. Now I've just completely quit my rogue, aside from other goals.
Doesn't that like, I don't know.
He's just gonna sit there and wait for the expansion to come out. And then maybe I'll have the experience of raiding all the way through an entire expansion next time. But for now, he's just kind of hanging out. I
hope so.
He has other things to work on here and there. Because he's the one that does all of my... He's still my main. So he's the one that does all the rep grinds. But the most effective way of grinding rep without hating myself is... just checking in every few days to see if there's an emissary at High Totem or the Nightbound or the Nightborn, and then I'll get a little spike of like, I'll go to that region, do like 4 daily quests, turn in the emissary, and I will have collectively gotten like 3,000 rep, and then I'll be like, all right, see you next week.
Goodbye.
Because I could sit there and grind it. I don't know how to grind Nightbound rep, but I know that if you want to grind, if you want to grind high totem rep, you go to the local dungeon in that zone, and the third boss gives you like 150 high totem rep. And if you're level 120, you could just solo that dungeon. So you just go in, you go in the dungeon, kill the third boss, teleport out, go in the dungeon, kill the third boss, teleport out, and keep looping. And you have to kill the first boss, all the other bosses on the way there, because they block you from progressing. And it's just very repetitive and monotonous. So I've done like 6 loops before, and then been like, all right, that's enough of that.
Like a hunter,
no, thank you.
Player.
I will just pop by every few days to do a couple daily quests and turn in the emissary thing when it shows up, and then just do other things. And I'll just unlock. I'll just unlock these races eventually instead of actively grinding it. So that's when I got on my stupid fox mission, which I succeeded at.
I saw that. Yeah, you shared the picture.
I've got my army of foxes, which is some silly nonsense. Oh right, I can summon that guy. There we go. Yeah, I talked about that last session, I think. The bizarre.
You talked about like the bizarre.
Yeah, the bizarreness where it's a bunch of like really wholesome and supportive ways of getting different pets, and then the last one's just a massacre. Well, I did. I successfully murdered so many foxes that I was able to steal a baby. And here we are.
You did it.
Average wait time, half the time we've been waiting so far. Fuck. That's not a good sign. It's a really nice looking mount too. It's a shame that the game's all about flying most of the time, so it's kind of useless.
That's okay. I mean,
that's the bummer about flying mounts. You almost wish that there was like a universal, make this a flying mount now. Like
that's called buying a mount.
Yeah.
They just don't sell land-only mounts anymore. If you buy a mount from the Blizzard store, it has to fly. That's why the mouse flies.
Yeah.
Because like it's unacceptable to buy a non-flying mount in a game where flying is what everyone does.
Yeah, the mouse flies, and the blue fox that they charge for flies.
Gotta buy the blue fox.
But he's blue. It doesn't work with the aesthetic of the joke. He also looks. He also works. He just looks less good too.
He like just looks less good. Keep out here with the hot takes.
the orange fox looks cooler than the blue fox. It's not just a color change. The blue fox is genuinely completely designed differently, and looks less good. Facto.
It's unfortunate.
I'm getting murdered. Oh.
Some poor Blizzard employee is crying in his hands right now for you saying such mean things. You need help? You want me to come over? Oh.
I'm dead.
What were you fighting?
Just fighting in general. The main thing is that my Voidwalker isn't staying alive as much as he has been. He's pretty mindlessly been able to stay alive while I just grind whatever. But suddenly he's falling victim to just the erosion of like doing 3 fights in a row and then be like, I'm dying. And I'm sitting here like, what button even heals him again? Because I don't actually heal the Voidwalker very much.
You're like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Whereas on my Beastmaster Hunter, I am fucking like mashing that mend pet button because it needs maintenance or the pets just fucking die.
No, feed them. Just feed your damn pet.
You can feed your pets?
Yeah, if you use feed pet, it heals them for 50% of its total health.
Feed
just
pet.
Just keep some meat around. I always keep like chicken or some kind of like stingy loins.
I don't think I've even noticed that feature. I think it used to be core to like making them happy.
Yes, it used to be part of making them happy.
Yeah, I didn't notice that it was even still there.
It was yeah, it's
that's out of combat feeding though, right?
No, you can feed them in combat.
What?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry, that is not usable in combat.
I was gonna say, like, why don't you just tell them to eat the enemy then?
My apologies.
You look so much cooler than the blue one.
Yeah,
it's not just because I grinded for hours for you.
It's nice because you can just you can basically just have your, you mend pet, and then you can just have your, once the fight's over, just immediately feed it, go back into a fight, keep up the cycle.
I just work mend pet into my rotation of buttons I'm pressing. And that just keeps them up whenever they're falling behind a bit. I was surprised by how mend pet works. It's weird. It has no cost or cooldown.
It does have a cooldown, 10 seconds.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. It does have a cooldown, but the cooldown is as long as its duration is.
Yes.
So you can have a 100% uptime of mend pet, so it's just always healing. And
you should always be doing that.
And I was like, excuse me? Because mend pet used to be a channel.
Yeah, you used to have to like stop attacking to mend your pet.
Yeah, you would literally just be mending your pet, but now you just
it doesn't heal as
tap
much,
it every now and
which
then.
is the thing.
Yeah, but it's like in normal gameplay, it's like health is just never a risk now. Like it's very effective.
True. Oh my god!
As far as I can tell, the primary downside of mend pet is just that it activates the global cooldown, which means you lose, like, it's the thing where you can only do 1 action per second or so. Like, so I guess you might be able to do more DPS because you could do like 1 more activation or something in that time instead of using mend pet. So I think that's the primary cost. Other than that, it's just free. So it's like a shockingly powerful button you just poke at every now and then, just whenever you remember to do it, so that your pet doesn't just sort of die as you're going around. There you go,
Fucking
dying.
hell, what the fuck is wrong? Oh, it's part of him. Okay, that's why. I was like, I'm fighting this guy, and everything's okay, and then all of a sudden this fucking enemy just showed up and started like doing half of my pet's damage, like health and damage. I'm like, where did you even come from? I didn't see you, I didn't tag you, I didn't attack you, I didn't do anything to this fucking creature. How did you show up?
Did like a world boss show up?
Yeah, and then the moment I died, it like disappears. I was like, oh, you're part of the encounter with this fucking asshole. Okay, thanks.
One day at a time, friend.
Hate that shit.
One day at a time, friend.
And of course, he's walking in an area with tons of enemies.
How
So now I have to re-clear.
Since this is an entire zone of fox people, like slaves, how do they feel about seeing me have a fox mount? Like, don't worry, he's my friend.
He consented to this.
He's benefited from servitude. Like distressing rhetoric.
That's yeah. It was a different time when I got him. I didn't know slaves existed for foxes yet.
It was a different time.
No one deserves.
I'm looking forward to the expansion coming out so I can take a better version of my screenshot.
Oh yeah, because they're gonna fix the damn foxes.
Yeah, not necessarily fixed, because I don't know if they'll change any of the old ones, but the next expansion has a new fox model that just looks way better. And so I'll replace my hunter pets with ones that actually look good. Then my cosmetic pet will still look like garbage, but he's tiny, so you can barely tell.
Oh.
And he does the funny little dance, so that's fun. We got one. I like that he does the little hop on his back feet dance all the time.
Yeah. Whoa. Hello. Okay.
But we must find the source of the rot and destroy it.
These are all new, so I'm just gonna follow all of you guys.
Because you've never done these before either.
Yeah.
It's scary, isn't it?
Okay. This is already not great for a lot of reasons.
Where's our tank?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Focus.
Tank.
Yeah, it seemed like all of our not tanks were going forward. I didn't have time to register what was happening. Yeah, I've never been here before, I don't think. Gross looking. Yeah, it's funny, I keep meaning to get around to doing the dungeons, and I just keep not doing them. Like, I completed all of the quests in each zone, and they all end in, hey, now do the dungeon, and then I would just go on to the next zone. And so I have all of like the end of zone quests on my rogue just sitting there waiting for me to do the dungeons finally. It's just I have to go into matchmaking and I have to wait and it takes a while. And then the dungeon takes a while. And what if I don't still want to be playing half an hour from now? Maybe I'm getting ready to get off. Or maybe I just don't want to pay that much attention right now.
That's usually my thing. I just don't want to pay attention.
So I just have like mixed feelings about when I'm free time on my rogue. I have mixed feelings about going off and doing things. Or it's often like, do I want the thing I'm doing right now to be interrupted?
Yes.
But also then one of the times I did try to do a dungeon, I just sat in matchmaking for 40 minutes and it never gave me one.
Also, yes.
And I was like, I guess I'll give up? I think I tried to do some difficulty. Like, I think I went in under the assumption, like, okay, now I'm massively over-geared for this dungeon, so I should probably play, like, one of the higher difficulty versions instead of, the normal version. But I think I picked some sort of intermediate difficulty that there's no reason to play anymore.
There's no reason to play anymore.
Look,
I like the idea that there's parts of the game that are just like, alright, don't go here. Don't touch this.
Well, just this late into the experience, I imagine there's a thing where, like, you're either playing the easiest difficulty... Oop, what was that? Okay. I imagine you're playing the easiest difficulty because you're leveling your character up, and like this right now, we're playing normal. Or, if you're not playing on normal, then you're probably playing on the highest difficulty because you've been playing for so long that now it's time to play the super ultra mega crazy mode. Whereas the people that are in need of the intermediate stages are probably so rare that you can't even get a group together anymore.
Yeah, it sounds like that sounds more like a guild thing.
Yeah, because the content's been out for years. So I was like, oh, well, I'm over-geared. I should probably play, like, heroic mode or whatever. And I just never found a group in matchmaking. It's like, I think I made a mistake. Did it just make the fucking Final Fantasy victory sound?
I don't know, but I'm doing the most damage of this team.
I swear it was
Yeah,
like
boy.
ba 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 da.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. I'm a gamer. I would have noticed that sound.
It's time to boot you for not DPSing enough.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm doing the most DPS in the game.
I know. But it's
Don't
never
boot me.
it's never enough.
That's true. As a
For
hunter, I'm definitely the first to
these
go.
fucking players that would rather go through the whole process of trying to find a new player and potentially ruin the entire party and maybe never even finish the dungeon. They'd rather risk that than deal with one guy doing a little bit of slow DPS in a group that has never wiped. That was a weird day when we just kept getting booted.
WoW has its toxic moments, even though
Yeah.
it's a massively multiplayer online game, so the point is to play with other people. Some people are just
Yeah.
like, no, I don't like
But no,
you.
I figure we'll hit level cap, maybe even today actually, and then we'll just pick a new project.
That is possible. We can play Grounded.
We could play Grounded, or we could play Satisfactory or something, or even another MMO. I haven't really made up my mind.
Satisfactory would be nice.
Yeah, I could do with like a
puzzles.
redo. Because Bird was in maximum fuckery mode, where he oops, the crew just kind of kept going. Did you see our series, or like what it was like at least? Not necessarily like watch the whole thing, but like, did you see the mess our base became?
I did see after you mentioned it the first time, I went and checked it out, and it was
The spaghetti
very
shit.
fuckery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a little bit of like anxiety where I was like, just move it, just move your shit.
And I think Bird kind of gave up on it once we had like technical problems that were like making it so that he couldn't like see stuff in my world, and like there's like connection problems and everything's going on. And I think we're at a point now where he's largely just given up on the idea of doing it anymore, because he has this kind of a pushback whenever I talk about going back to things we covered before as opposed to going to something new. So maybe it's time for a sequel series where we start from scratch with you instead, and we try to be a little organized this time and also get to experience a lot of the new content and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't reached a lot of the in-game content for Satisfactory yet.
Yeah.
But I have done like you know, fuck. I've done the basics. God, this mod is amazing.
Unfortunately, I think it's still not 1.0. So that would definitely be the most. Is it?
Yeah, it's like, I believe it's out. Like, isn't it like out for good? Or not? I mean,
like it's always been out, but I think it just keeps getting like update 3 and update whatever. But I don't think it's like at its 1.0 version. It's like I don't think that, like for example, I don't think there is necessarily the end game yet. But they do just keep adding more updates.
God, this dungeon has more fucking AoE stuff.
There's a lot going on.
Like,
oops.
I
dodged one AoE into another AoE. Alright, I'll just bring him to you. Because you seem to not notice that he's on me. Alright. Please taunt him. There we go.
Sorry, I should have taken that off of you.
I mean, the tank should have.
Well, I mean, I could redirect, so I could punch it and then have it go to the tank instead. Do the tank's job for him, I guess you could call it. Why is he so far away?
Because that's where he do.
Yeah, but why is the tank so far away?
Oh,
God.
It said dodge attack, but I wasn't really sure where it was going to be until I very abruptly knew exactly where it was going to be. God damn. I have a mod that tells me that like basically makes air raid sirens at me whenever bad things are about to happen to hurt me. Yeah, no, it's I hear an air horn.
Yeah.
From Deadly Boss mods, I assume.
Yeah, from Deadly Boss mods. It's super handy. There are some like actual not shitty mods for this game.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of back and forth on the choices. In part because we haven't had a chance to choose a game in so long because we've been playing this. Like we could play a normal ass campaign of something like how I'm playing Resident Evil 5 with Bird, or do something like kind of time consuming like a survival game like Grounded or Satisfactory, or we could go on the fucking MMO list into like Secret World or Final Fantasy 14 or Old Republic.
I'd be down for Final Fantasy 14.
We will fucking never run out of things to do.
I haven't played that in a hot minute.
Is there a function for like properly starting over where you're not just an overpowered nightmare when you're playing with friends? Because you're kind of stuck with your one character, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll just pick a different class. I haven't maxed out every class yet. So I can just pick a new class and be at level 0. And you could be my guide. Yeah.
There's so many possibilities. They're all so time consuming.
I don't remember some of the bosses, but I do remember a good deal of them because, you know, I spent a lot of hours farming for mounts that I never got.
Do all of the quests come back? How does that work?
Huh? You mean the main story missions?
Yeah.
No, main story missions don't return. But I don't technically need them, so you can do them and then I can follow you along and do things while you're doing it. Because there's always like tons of quests that I can do. I mean, Final Fantasy, never not have quests.
We had a bit of a scare there. I hope no one noticed that.
What happened? Did you almost die?
That patrol almost walked directly into me and then they just turned around.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at that in the corner of my eye. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, they turned around and ran next to me and I didn't see them. I didn't actually see them until they turned around. I saw the animations of them rotating and I was like, huh?
What manner of creature is this? It must not be allowed to reach the surface. Destroy it now.
Something about troll voices always feels on the cusp of being offensive. I don't know why. I think it's because the accents are clearly not natural.
Yeah.
I think that's what throws me off. It's like what do you
If
say?
you get upheave on you, take it to next to mushrooms. Upheave.
Temporal displacement. Oh god.
Oh, there's a lot of mushrooms. Move. Oh. I'm gonna move to this mushroom.
Oh, it says it.
There we go.
You have it.
Yeah, I took it to a mushroom. It says move away from others. But you also take
Makes
it to the
sense.
mushrooms, because it apparently gets rid of them. Oh, okay, I'll take it away. Did not see there was another one over there.
Oh.
But yeah, you can choose if you have any particular strong opinion of which one you want to do. Otherwise, maybe I'll just put it up to a vote, because I'm torn.
Yeah. I just put it up to a vote. I'm down to do anything really. All of it sounds great. I would love to. Yeah, I'm always down for Final Fantasy. I would love to do Satisfactory or Grounded or something like that.
If this spreads to the surface, we will not
I don't really
be
have
able
any.
to contain it.
No preference, but lots of yeses.
1.5 hours, that's so long from now. Oh, it's because I leveled. So I realized something really dumb when I was editing my footage for last week, which is it's pretty funny. You know how I was like confused about you being in certain places with respect to me in level?
Yeah.
Like at some point I was like, wow, I'm like 80% past that level, and then I'd be like, what? How did you pass me? I was ahead of you in the level, and so all those confusion.
You were a level ahead.
No, what I realized is that my experience bar is not on the screen. I currently have 2 bars, but neither of them are my
The
experience bar. One is a rep and one is my artifact power.
Oh right, yeah.
At some point,
Got that
like I
artifact
didn't
power.
tell it to do that. So like at some point, like I think getting the Heart of Azeroth replaced my experience meter and I didn't opt into it necessarily. Well, I already had a rep on. And I just remembered that just now. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't see my experience meter. I keep, and the thing is, one of the meters is green, so it kind of just it feels natural to think like, oh, that's probably my experience meter, I assume. That makes sense. I forget, but I think experience is actually blue and purple,
Oh
right?
boy. Who dat? Oh.
Oh, he's an ally. Okay.
Yeah, I just heard the thumping and saw him walk
Thump,
behind. I was
thump,
like,
thump,
oh
thump.
lord.
yeah,
The
my,
experience bar is blue for me because it's always on permanent
Rested.
whatever it's called. Yeah,
we always take
permanent
because we're always gone for a week each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's what's like purple's its normal color and blue's is rested. So, but
Yeah.
green didn't feel that unnatural, so I just kind of defaulted to being like, I guess this is my experience meter. Without, because if I don't question it, I just assume the experience meter's down there because it always is. But it's not actually. Surprise.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. I don't want to get distracted in the middle of a dungeon, but I'll have to toggle that once we're out, so I can actually see my experience again. Still, 1.4 hours, fuck. Maybe we're not gonna hit level cap tonight.
We're doing a dungeon, so that probably will go by a little bit faster.
Yeah, the random dungeon reward is not calculated as part of it because we haven't gotten it yet, and it doesn't know we will.
Yeah.
But current rate of acquisition of experience is not good enough.
That makes sense. Let us in.
Let's, yeah, stop tracking bilge water. There we go.
Wow! What's happening?
Oh my god!
Turn into light. Unbound Abomination.
That's
What
not
a
nice.
name.
Lust pull on chamois. Do we even have? We don't have a chamois, do we?
Oh, that's why I said, oh, never mind.
Because he's a fool. The fool.
Fool. Oh, right, my pet didn't come. Because we turned to dust.
Gross. Oh yeah, my pet's gone too. Summoning imp. Do you use that light to get rid of the muck?
Oh, maybe.
It's called cleansing light. I bet. Yep. I bet you need that to get rid of all the bad shit everywhere. That seems about right. Oh boy. I would like to be a little further away from the nasty. Oh boy. Vile expulsion. Gross. Cleansing light. Maybe it doesn't take it out? I'm confused.
Oh, I think it does something to the visage.
Oh, maybe it gets rid of him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how this works mechanically. I've never done this before.
I haven't either.
Blood visage remaining 3. I'm not sure what's happening.
I'm not sure either, and I feel kind of bad. I feel like I'm throwing, but I'm not trying to. Stand next to him. Oh, it did clean it off.
Did I get some?
Yeah, it did clean it. Why didn't mine work?
I mean, mine doesn't seem to have gotten that much either. I'm a little confused. But there's vile bads everywhere. Get them. I assume we're supposed to.
Yeah.
There we go. We're good. We're good. No one even died, I think.
Hey, Azerite item. Okay.
I definitely think I'm hearing a victory noise. Is that in my mod?
Probably. What mod do you have?
Did we finish? Was that the end of the dungeon?
Yes.
Oh, I guess so. Okay. I wonder if Deadly Boss Mons or something has like a victory noise.
Maybe. Mine doesn't make that, so maybe I just turned it off. Oh.
Whoa.
What?
Plus 331% upgrade. Holy shit.
What? Sorry, for what now? What happened?
I switched to a staff that was higher level, just kind of assuming it'd be better, but, but then when I highlighted I was about to disenchant my one I was already using, and it said that the one I already had was the 331% upgrade over the one that that I just gotten. Like the new one, despite being 30 levels lower, the old one was just way better. I think it's because the new one didn't have any intellect on it. If I read that correctly, I already got rid of it. I think it might have just had no intellect.
That's mean.
Was there even...
Is there even what?
Oh right, there was no reward for random. Although the reward for random is only 100k anyway.
That doesn't get doubled?
Well, we didn't do random.
Oh, right.
Because we're trying not to, because of the whole don't do repeats thing. Although
is there any repeats here?
I did fuck up that time though, because I should have queued up for all of, I should have hit random this time because we haven't done any of them before.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But now we have. Whoops. Meh.
Oh well.
But even then, the reward is only like a fifth of a level. If the 100k gets doubled to 200k, then that's still only 200k out of 860k is my current level requirement. So it's not a lot. we're not reaching our goal tonight.
Well,
these levels are chunky. Chunky levels.
Chunky levels.
Chunky.
They got some chonk to them.
That chunky chonk. That level's
fucking
chunky.
hell! This guy does fucking all of my health in one hit. How? 115. He's the same level as me.
Oh,
fuck off.
Oh yeah, no, the Sound Scout. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck is this? This is fucking garbage.
No, that guy's a nightmare. Yeah, he's suggested for a party of 5. I don't know if we could take him together, honestly, but we could try.
party of 5?
Yep.
He's a fucking enemy. It's not a fucking dungeon. Get the fuck out of here.
Whenever you pick a wanted quest, it recommends 3 or 5 players, and those are big, tough ones. I was able to eventually, when I was hitting level cap-ish, I was able to take out every single one that recommended a party of 3 if I got just with like good use of cooldowns and a little cleverness and shenanigans and whatnot. But that guy was fucked. I straight up had to give up on that guy specifically until I was overpowered. And I came back much later when I like was finishing my rep grind and I was like raid ready and shit. And then I was coming in with like 50 item levels above what I had when I first hit level cap, and then I just stomped him. But no, for a long time there, he was just undoable.
What an absolute piece of shit. Do not want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Hey, 116.
Be very cautious with any wanted mission. The good news is that they're all dead ends. None of them are a quest chain. You just randomly pick up a wanted poster here and there, and there's just like a dangerous dude out there, and if you can get him, there's a reward, but you might not be able to get him. And specifically, yeah, that guy, I remember him. He's the most dangerous NPC I had to go after in all of this expansion. I straight up came up after him when I was raid ready.
Well, I'll get him eventually.
Are you going after him again?
No, I'm gonna finish this quest I'm on over here first, and then I'll go after him again.
I guess I'll head over.
I'm gonna kill him.
Not alone, probably.
You don't know that.
I kind of know that.
I got him down to.
He's
I got him down
super
pretty
not
low.
balanced for you to solo.
It's just a stupid pet that. Oh my god. Problem is, he does more damage than my pet can heal. That's what gets me every time.
All be welcome here.
No one deserves this fate.
Stay safe out there. What you need. Don't trust anyone.
Could use you dead.
Yeah, I'd be curious about the context of the voice actors for the trolls, because yeah, it does give off the impression kind of just being a bunch of impressions.
Yeah, that's why I
And so
always kind of feel
you're always
like,
kind of like, I feel ya, man.
You're right. I don't have a problem with them being Rastafarian, Jamaican,
whatever the fuck those lyrics were.
I do have an issue if it's like someone just like some random person doing a Jamaican accent. It's kind of like, why? It's internet era. You can just have someone record voices and send them to you. Like, stop this.
Voice actors are so prolific. I was looking at, I think the character that plays Abby in Last of Us 2, the controversial character.
Oh,
and
no.
I believe it's the same voice actress that plays Jaina Proudmoore.
Don't look at her.
Just because these people are everywhere. All of them are. They just play like 50,000 characters.
There's a very small talent pool of voice actors, probably because doing voice acting is not very rewarding for the amount of effort you put in.
Like, I joked about how the same guy plays the secondary dog character in BNA and Beastars and Agretzko. But, like, he also has, like, 5 billion other roles per year. And it's just insane. They're so fucking busy.
Yeah, well.
So I'm always taken aback by just how much some of these people do.
It's a field that I wish I could get into, but I don't think I have the patience
chops.
or what it takes. Yeah, because like a lot of it is also networking. You need to be really good at like getting yourself out there and meeting people in the industry. And
I hate it.
And that's something I don't feel is necessary for any position.
Yeah, like I'd get a kick out of it if the two of us had a cameo where we're arguing or something in some game, but that's about it.
Yeah,
Making it like
yeah,
the
like you have
day-to-day
the Halo
job is,
experience.
yeah, making it a day-to-day job would just be such a fucking ordeal.
I wouldn't mind doing it day to day. My problem is I just don't want to do any of the annoying parts of it. Like I don't mind doing the actual work of voice acting. I just don't want to do.
It's just
I've
good
done
luck.
it. Shit, I've voiced entire visual novels myself.
You mean like Let's Play or?
No, I mean like the the Let's Plays I did of my visual novels where I read everything and
Yeah.
then do voices for random people. It's like
I was gonna say, like, are you
same
about to drop
difference.
the bomb that you're the voice track of a visual novel?
Oh no, that'd be great. I would love that.
Just fucking surprise. It's like that fucking Jay Nicholson plot twist. It's like, by the way, I'm pony famous.
Oh no.
What the fuck? That video contained things I was expected to contain.
I'm not surprised, but I was kind of surprised when it was like that famous. When she was like, "Yeah, people wanted me at conventions." It's like, what? Wait a second, who are you?
I showed
What is-
I showed Stephanie the wedding episode of The Friendship is Witchcraft, and she was similarly just kind of taken aback and confused by how elaborate it is. Like, so much work goes into it, and it's confusing because you're like, it's just like a fan redub, but it has like original animation and original songs, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's like
People put in the time.
legitimately funny.
That's the surprising part. Wait a second, this is well written.
It's
I can't
a lot to
stand for
take
this.
in. Have you watched that yet?
No, I haven't watched all of her stuff yet.
That is just a fucking trip. It's clearly some kind of episode where one of them has like a sibling that's getting married, but then, oh my god, the bride's evil and controlling him or something, which is like an age-old trope, and it's probably not the most interesting episode in the original show. But they redub it so that the sister is actually just way too into her brother and keeps saying stuff like, it's not weird because we're not technically siblings, like because they were raised together but aren't actually related or something.
Oh
And they
no,
just-
an anime trope.
Yeah, they keep doing like there's a lot of incest vibes and creepy things going on there. And then meanwhile, they recontextualize all the scenes of the brother like having a headache or like seeming not himself and so on as being the sister exerting her power over him because she's obsessed with him and wants to marry him. And so it flips the script of the entire episode so that it's like she's fucking tormenting this poor innocent woman that didn't do anything wrong. It's just so that she can have her brother to herself. And so like this poor wife is this poor wife to be is just being tormented. It's like, wow, you can really change the entire fucking context of what's happening by just changing some words around and re-editing a couple things.
That's I did apply to do voices for a My Hero Academia whatever you call
fandom?
that. Yeah,
Like
they want to do like a bridge,
Team 4-star,
series.
yeah.
Yeah, and I applied to do because you've seen the first episode of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
I applied to be the
hated
slime.
it.
I was trying to be the slime guy.
You couldn't even be a slime guy.
No,
Oh,
I was trying to
no.
do my nasty crypt taker voice, and that wasn't, I guess, the voice they
Yeah,
wanted to go
I
with.
straight up never continued that show.
That's fine.
I just watched the first episode and was like, I hate it.
Yeah.
It didn't make me care about a single thing or person in the show. The first episode was just like, concept, fast, more plot lines, fast, no one, and then it's like, I had like a headache. Because it was going so fast, and it was like mashing so much into 20 episodes, and it was like, this is a bad episode.
Joke's on you, it's the whole season. It's the
Yeah.
whole series. It's the whole genre.
Like, it just wasn't a well-constructed episode, which just doesn't sell me on the idea of like, watch more of it. Maybe it is less, maybe it like is like paced less stupid later.
You can't trick me.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm like, but I just already don't like it. I liked BNA more than this on its pilot.
Stay safe out there. No one.
Nay had a chance.
That's partly because BNA is mostly an alright pilot, except for the weird, like, mid-fight exposition that ruins the pacing of the fight.
There's... Whoa. Pulling a lot of these guys. Pulling all the sap boys. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry. What's it called? There's another show I've been watching, and I'm trying to find a way to properly explain just why I hate the show, and I can't figure out a good way to describe the problem. But the problem is like the MC is unredeemable. Like there's just no making the character work.
Is he just like a terrible person or something?
He is so bad. He is so bad that there's a point where they try to, like, one of his friends tries to tell a story about why he's a good person, and I hated him more. Like, I was like, how did you do this? Like, how did you make your character less likable in the scene where a person makes you like him? Like, it basically, the idea is, okay, so for context,
he was unsuccessful, evidently.
The point of the I'm just gonna soul suck these. Can I not soul suck these?
Are you ready? Are you ready to battle the fuck boy?
Hold on a second. I apparently was missing this entire quest because I'm a dumbass. The concept, or the premise of the show is basically there is a guy gets broken up with a girl that he loves, and so he goes online and uses a rent-a-girlfriend service, which is a real thing that does exist in Japan, where it's like not prostitution, it's like the PG-13 version of prostitution, where you just hire someone to be affectionate for you in public for a day. So, you know, like holding hands, going on a date, eating food or whatever. And so he uses this service, and it ends up in a wacky, zany situation where he has to like pretend that person's his real significant other because one of his family members found out about it, and he doesn't want to just tell them that's what he did. And it's like, okay, fine.
So he just keeps
normal.
digging it deeper and deeper. Oh,
So-
he's here.
Oh shit, give me a sec. And
Veseric is here.
And so it's like, okay, fine, I can live with that. But then he goes, so then he like, him and her are, he basically does a thing where he's like, okay, I'm just gonna like rent you out every Wednesday, and we're gonna go visit my grandma until she gets out of the hospital, and then I'll just say we broke up, and that's the end of the lie. It's like, okay, whatever, dude, you're pathetic, but that's fine. And so then on the way to the hospital, they accidentally run into his friends. And so now he has to like pretend that it's his girlfriend to his friends. And I'm like, it's your friends. And one of his friends is like, yeah, this is my lifelong friend I've known since childhood. I'm like, you're lying to him? Like, it's your fucking best friend, dude. I think he'll understand. Literally every joke that they have between each other is like, this guy's a virgin. He just jerks off all day. And it's like, why are you lying to them? What do you gain? Like, they already don't respect you. You're not gonna lose respect with them because you rented a girlfriend. And so now he's dug this hole even deeper. And now he has to, oh my God.
Blah, blah,
And so
blah.
now he has to pretend for both his friends and his grandma that he has this fake girlfriend. And so then it ends up escalating to a point where like he's now going to the beach with his friends and this fake girlfriend, and his ex-girlfriend is in the party with them that he wants to get back with. So he's using the rent-a-girlfriend to do that, and the rent-a-girlfriend's like, cool,
he just keeps
good.
paying her?
Yeah,
I guess.
He just keeps paying her, and lamenting about like how pathetic he is that he has to keep doing this, but like never just not being pathetic. like he never just tries to be less pathetic. He's just and so anyways, the end result is basically, oh God.
Oh boy. They're pulling.
Oh, that might be my fault.
Did you just multi-shot that peacekeeper?
Yeah, I think I multi-shotted that peacekeeper. Might be. Worth it, I promise. No one's died yet, right?
What does R mean? R question mark? What does that mean? Oh, ready, I guess.
Yeah. Although there is an in-game thing you can just press to ask.
Yeah, the ready check.
Yeah, no one ever uses it for some
Bum,
reason.
bum, bum. We use all the time during the raids, at least.
Well, yeah, because you have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, timing is
yeah, how do you know
everything.
if all like fucking 15 people are here right now or not? The
So you go on the Discord and you say, "Hey guys, we're going 3, 2, 1."
I always have to finish the jingle every time I hear it, and I don't think anyone else even recognizes it as being that. But every single time, I can't. All I can think of is Lord of the Rings, because it goes bum bum bum, and I'm like bum bum bum. I feel like that soundtrack will just be burning in my brain forever. Do you remember that song?
I think so.
It was the Lord of the Rings song that represents like the orcs, basically. So it's like the Imperial March, but of Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
And it'll go bum 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 bum, and it's like it's the same notes. It's the same notes every single time you do a ready check. It goes bum bum bum, and then it just stops. And I'm like, I have to stop. I have to finish it.
You can't trick me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what is this? You have like 17 imps. Calm down, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like a shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
What was that? I saw a Twitter post someone made. It was like, hey, by the way, such and such famous poet did all of their poetry in this style, so you can put it to the tune of the Pokemon theme. And I was like, oh no. And you can like read it, and it does work perfectly. It's like, oh no. Your legacy.
That poet was Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poet.
Could you imagine? How sad would that be? Poor guy is like, has poetry of misery, and you're just playing a upbeat Pokemon theme song in the background.
The telltale heart will understand the guilt that is inside. I killed a man. Killed him and buried him under my house.
Was this poetry like that dark?
Yeah, that's the telltale heart.
Oh my god.
In Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, it's a story of somebody who murdered someone and buried them under their house, but he can still hear the heart beating. And either the insanity or the guilt makes him like freak out, and he like exposes himself because he's driven so mad by the sound of the beating heart that's under his house that he digs up the floorboards and uncovers the body, and I think gets himself caught or something. I haven't read it since like high school, but the main gist is that somebody got murdered and he can still hear the heartbeat of the person he murdered. So it's like that Junji Ito story of like when he kills somebody for being too tall because he was short and he's insecure about it, so he kills somebody that was taller than him, and then the corpse keeps growing, but he seems to be the only one who sees it. Like it's basically Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, but fucking Junji Ito'd into being fucking bizarre.
I mean, that's kind of his MO, right?
And then I don't really know that many other I don't know that many other stories by Edgar Allan Poe that well. I think he has the one that's about the party.
Uh-oh. Who left? Oh, the DP. Oh, the healer left.
Oh. That's not good.
Oh, healer's back.
Yay. Different healer though. Just gotta wait for him to get here.
I think the previous healer DC or nope.
Yeah.
Did she say why?
See, if you want to talk about bordering on racist names, that's a good example.
What, fish?
Unga Bunga.
Unga Bunga.
His name's Unga Bunga, and I'm like,
Well, what race is he?
Is there any good outcome?
Sure. Unga Bunga Blood Elf is not very... It's not culturally insensitive.
Yeah, he's a goblin apparently.
Okay, that's...
But I guess it's less bad than troll, or even orc.
If it was orc, it would be real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is Unga Bunga bad? That's just like caveman, right?
I just remember that fucking Civilization song from Fallout. The Andrews sisters. Bingo, bango, bongo, I'm so happy in the jungle, I refuse to go. It's like, wow, okay. This is explicitly...
That's a little different.
Wow.
I mean, it's Fallout.
Talking about
it's
jungle people,
racist.
straight up going like bingo, bango, bongo. I'm like,
Most of the songs are real songs though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, no, they're all real songs. The Andrews sisters are a real band.
Yeah.
They did the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy of Company B.
Yikes, that already sounds bad. I don't like anything of it.
It's pretty catchy.
I mean, I'm sure it was catchy.
Yeah.
You don't get put into a video game unless you're a pretty catchy music artist for like 50 years.
And then yeah, the Ink Spots were a real band, the ones that do the theme. I'm pretty sure that was just an old song that just existed. That I don't want to set the world on fire. Like that's...
Yeah, I knew that's a real song.
I think Fallout... And I think New Vegas was also new. I think 4 might have had some original music.
They finally caught up.
I mean, having original music's kind of a downgrade. It's kind of... The point is to have a bunch of stuff from the real history. That's when their culture stopped developing.
Yeah.
Although I think it's stupid.
Wow, hot take. You think Fallout's stupid?
Well, like, we have like 3 Dog and all these other people, and I'm just like, in this fucking universe, they've been existing in the post-apocalypse for like generations. Like decades or generations, or in some cases hundreds of years, I think, depending on which Fallout you're talking about. Like, they would make new art, and like they would make new music and things. Like,
the music is weird considering there's so much technology to record it.
Like, I know that a lot of the universe is bad, but like a bunch of them like live in cities and shit. I think about like the details of like in The Last of Us 2, like they're going through shit and all this bad stuff's happening and the world's still dangerous, but like Joel like plays guitar and writes songs. Like, because they're still humans existing, and like at some point they go home to shelter and they eat food and they cook and they like love each other and exist as a society.
They like love each other.
I mean, without
Not
that,
in my apocalypse
at some
story,
point,
Keith.
at some point, it's like, what are you fighting for if you never accomplish that? Like, you've never accomplished having like some kind of society where you can like have any happiness ever and not just be fighting at all the time. Like Walking Dead has that, Last of Us has that, and Fallout has that, but tries to pretend it doesn't. So you go into towns full of quests and so on and so forth, and there's people doing stuff. There's people fucking printing. There's people running. 3 Dog runs a fucking radio station, and whatever her name was from the boring one has a newspaper. Like, she prints a newspaper.
Yeah.
Like, but they don't have any new music, and they still haven't picked up the garbage in their city. Like, it's up there with like how when you play Fallout 4, one of the first locations you find is called the Red Rocket gas station or whatever, or Red Rocket diner, and it's got like a big rocket, and there's a person who works there, but in the fucking room are like 3 skeletons.
Oh.
And you're like,
yeah,
why doesn't she pick up the skeletons? Oh, you got aggro, didn't you? You fool. But like she works there every day. Like, that's her business location. Why does she still have fucking like nuclear fallout skeletons in her fucking diner using up the booths?
It's a good prop.
Why are there just a bunch of piles of garbage everywhere like the apocalypse just happened? They have brooms. Sometimes you see people sweeping, and you're like, how have you never made progress at this?
Why are you sweeping?
Well, it's like, because they live
permanently dirty all the time.
Yeah,
guys.
It's like those people live there and work there, but they can't clean a room in 100 years.
Fallout has, well, I mean, Fallout is at its core very.
They killed the shit out of my immersion. The fucking like that city you visit in Fallout 4, which looks like garbage all the time. And I'm like, people live here. What the fuck? this should look different from the outside world. It's like, you can see the difference in Outer Worlds. In Outer Worlds, you can see like the abandoned buildings that are outside the wall, and then the buildings inside the wall, which, like, even if they're not super clean, they're like, they look believable, and the ones that are outside are fucking trashed. But like they're so dedicated to their nonsensical apocalypse aesthetic that they'll still stick it out, even if it means that everyone's living in literal garbage every day, all the time, even in their so-called cities that are like their big, best areas of the, like, their brightest beacons of all of Fallout.
Which is confusing to me because there are places in, like, in Fallout 3 that weren't trash. Like, you can go into a building and it wasn't shit inside. It was like, oh, it's a normal, you know, it's a normal little building.
Yeah, but the Red Rocket Diner has fucking skeletons in it.
Yeah,
and
that kind of stuff
it's a place
weird.
that's in service. It's a currently in service place that's presumably been in operation for weeks or months or years, and she hasn't thought to, like, sweep the floor or move the skeletons. And I'm like, how am I supposed to believe
customers?
How am I supposed to? They were. It's like, how am I supposed to believe this setting even for a little bit?
Maybe they haven't paid off their tab yet. Their family wants to bury them, and she won't let them go until they pay their tab off. No, keeping your family members as props until they pay.
I loved that one comic though about Fallout. That was like, the nuclear bombs are coming, are detonating quick. I need to die in a location that tells my story.
Oh yeah.
He jumps at his, like, I think he jumps at his, like, bathtub, like he's playing that one game where you have to fit through a hole in the foam as it comes at you. That one, like, game show where, like, silhouettes come at you and you have to fit. Like he's doing that, but for his environmental storytelling corpse.
Yeah, because the skeletons are always, like, positioned in funny ways where you're like, did they die like that? And you're like, and they still are like that after hundreds of years? That's really impressive, skeletons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're like really committed to being posed for hundreds of years in really specific ways. Meanwhile, you think the guy that died that way would be like, what's that noise? When the nuke goes off. Might, like, go out to take a look and then get killed by the shockwave. You think that you'd see a lot of people standing, you think you'd find a lot of people that died looking out windows or walking out the front door to be like, what was that?
There would actually be a lot less skeletons. Like, a lot of people would just burn up in the explosion.
Yeah. Well, after a certain distance, I think a lot of it's just, like, radiation poisoning and whatnot.
Yeah, which I guess you can kind of excuse as saying, like, well, they didn't know they were sick, or they were sick and there's nothing they could do, so they just kept reading a book until they fucking passed out and died. But I don't know. There's some point where you have to, like, okay, well, I'm like,
raging
really
gaze on fish. Oh, we have a healer named Fish.
Yeah.
I was like, what does that mean? I don't. Is this a mechanic?
That's a weird thing to be raging at. Rage against the fish.
Killing in the name of blub blub blub. They do what they told you.
These dungeons are not really like memorable to me as much as the old ones were.
They're a bit visually chaotic a lot of the time.
I think it's because there's, I was gonna say there's so much going on in these, but I feel like I'm just constantly killing things and not really thinking about what I'm doing.
I mean, that's mostly how they do these days. Just gotta fight the scary demon thing.
Oh god, fight this big boy.
I think the Azeroth infusion refers to how that guy gets stronger, so we have to kill him before he becomes too dangerous.
Yeah.
This says to switch targets.
Run.
Oh yeah, no, I just summoned all my dudes. There you go. Oh yeah, it's definitely that's definitely happening. I definitely hear it. I think it's probably Deadly Boss Mods is probably doing the and I think it might be stolen from Smooth McGroove.
Smooth McGroove?
Yeah, I don't think that's instruments. I think it's acapella. So it's that one YouTube channel, Smooth McGroove, the guy with the beard. That does acapella videos.
That's why I was like, what do you mean it's stealing from him? Like, that would make it sound like people saying something.
It sounds like it's performed by Smooth McGroove. I can't tell, it's kind of quiet.
It could be. Oh, polymorphed. I'm a slime.
Your dream.
Yay!
Yay, we came full circle today. I'm so happy we could help Andrew experience his dream.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
What a slime.
That is an anime.
This probably is, yeah.
It is. I've watched it.
There's some strange anime titles that are very weirdly long.
It's
like I can't understand what my husband is saying, or my mom lifts, or whatever, or like does your mom even
lifts?
Or like does your mom even lift?
I think the one you're talking about is what is it? It's like oh god, what is the name of that stupid? It's like something about your
rats. There's bouncy little rats.
Your mom's double hit weapon or something.
Oh shit!
Ow. Right into the bad.
There's a lot happening right now. Don't appreciate this tension.
There we go. If I get them all into the center, and they have nowhere to go, but the...
I think one of them's like Diary of a House Husband.
There are some much longer ones. A lot of the light novels have really, really dumb, long names. Like one of them this season is like, is basically an MLA paper.
The season is?
No, like one of the shows. Yeah, what is this?
Are you looking it up right now?
So one anime this season, because I'm a hunter, I can just, my stuff's on auto, like on a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
The Misfit of Demon King Academy. History's strongest demon king reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants. That's the name of the whole anime.
That's a lot of title.
It's like a fucking college dissertation paper right there. Like, what the fuck? I did my doctorate thesis on Misfit Demon King Academy and histories. It's like, shit, all right. I'm a slime again.
Yeah, they like to target you specifically.
I
evidently.
know. Maybe I'm oozing
disgusting
big slime energy.
How dare you? There are children here.
I hope not.
Rixa Flux Flame.
What is it? What's the name of the actual book though? Yeah, that one's not as long, but it's like, yeah, my youth romantic comedy As Wrong as I Expected is like, that's a really long title for a show. And then you have like One Piece. Someone's like, what happened here?
I still need to read I think it's called Diary of a House Husband. Something House Husband.
Yeah, you're talking about the Yakuza one?
Yeah, he's like an ex-Yakuza who like marries, like he marries with a successful wife, I think, and just becomes a house husband. But he's like, so he's just doing like household chores and like joining Pilates classes and shit like that, and yoga and shit. But he's like weirdly intense about everything.
Well, yeah, he's got a Yakuza face.
Yeah.
So
it's up there with like how in Yakuza when you do basically anything, Kiryu does it like in a dramatic anime way. And it's part of the comedy oftentimes, like he'll answer a phone intensely and you're like, oh my god. And it's just like a lot of moments like that for a series.
Excuse me, sir, is your speech level 0? What happened here?
Whoop. That stuff's always really funny. I just want to have a look at that. Right now I'm watching Umbrella Academy Season 2. And then I'll get to Dorohedoro.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Is it even worth watching Season 2?
Did you watch Season 1 of Umbrella Academy?
I did, but I'm trying to remember if I liked it enough to want to watch a Season 2.
I liked a fair amount. It was a fun series. And by fun, I mean a series about abuse. It's fun
because everyone's sad.
It is not a happy premise. It's an entire family of superheroes that were abused as children. It's a hell of a fucking theme for a season. It's a bunch. It's like a Watchmen sort of thing where they're all ex superheroes, and they're not really there for their superhero-ness necessarily, and they're just all there because they're there to fucking. It's like, what if Charles Xavier was an abusive asshole and then he died, and everyone was there for his funeral, but they don't feel good, but they don't like him, and they're just kind of getting past this stage of their life, and that's it. Or trying to. Like, they just resent him and are trying to put him behind them, and each of them has a different, like, takeaway.
Yeah, I think my big hang-up with it was the conclusion. I think that's what turned me off of it.
Well, now it's not the conclusion, because there's a second season. Well,
yeah, but I mean, like, the ending of the first season is what made me like, I don't want to come back. Now that I'm remembering it.
Also, The Boys comes out, like, in a month. And Aggretsuko's coming out.
I also don't want to watch season 2 of The Boys.
Well, there's going to be Aggretsuko. That's
Aggretsuko I will watch, because that is good.
Season 3.
The Boys is disappointing. It's like, this isn't the comic. You didn't even try.
Yeah, I never read the comic.
The comic is so funny to me. There's so much, like, really good stuff in there. And I don't care about, like, I don't care about the really lame joke of casting what's his face as the dad. God, what's his fucking name? The guy from Shaun of the Dead, Sean Penn. Because he's supposed to be the main character.
Oh, Sean Penn's supposed to be the main character?
Yeah.
Or the dad's supposed to be the main character?
Yes, they literally drew the main character of the comic to look like Sean Penn.
Oh.
And they didn't make him the main character. They made him the dad, which is obviously because Sean Penn's old now, and the comic came out like 10 years ago.
Although he does not come across as being old enough to be that guy's dad.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not old enough to be the dad, but he's not young enough to be the main character.
Yeah. Were you calling him Sean Penn?
Yeah, Sean Penn. What is
Simon
his name?
Pegg.
Simon Pegg. There you go.
Sean Pegg is a different actor.
Okay. I don't remember actor names. I remember characters they play.
Yeah, if you looked up Sean Penn, you'd recognize him.
Oh.
But he's not similar in any way.
Sorry, Sean Penn. But yeah, so Simon Pegg, yeah.
I had to like pause. I'm like, something sounds wrong, but I can't quite figure it out what it is.
Sorry. But yeah, so besides that, there's just a lot of, like, they change a lot of plot elements, and I don't see why they needed to. Like, there's not an actual, there didn't seem to be a limitation on budget or anything else that was preventing them from doing it. They just didn't do it, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, sure. I'm trying to think of like a good example. I think a really good example is the ending of that season.
What is this boss?
Yeah, what is this? Is this Dr. Robotnik? I'll get you, Hedgehog.
Oh shit! That's a really big explosion range.
Yeah, that's why I ran very far away.
Gatling gun, Jesus. That's one way to dodge it.
Goddamn.
This is ridiculous.
Boss sounds.
Run! I'll just stand around here in the middle of nowhere. Poof. That didn't do any damage to me. Does it do more damage to the other people it hits?
Probably.
It seems to do like no damage to the actual target.
I wonder if you're supposed to bring it to him.
No. It says move away from the others.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it would wipe the party if you took it to the tank.
Maybe. Or maybe it would teach them a valuable lesson of teamwork.
Nah, it would just wipe the party. Teams, Blizzard game players don't learn from mistakes. They just yell.
They just kick you. Are you... Stand next to the posts.
Okay.
Oh, if you have the thing, if you have the target around you, or the arrow.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Oh, because he's gonna try to crush you, and he'll take out the post. Gotcha.
And the explosion causes his shield to take damage. No, you're running the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Sir, no.
Meow, 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 meow. There we go. Come on, get me, boyo.
Now run. Oh, or you could stand there too.
Oh, am I supposed to run away?
Yeah, well, when, once the circle goes down, that means he's locked in. Why are you not, why are you actively not doing this, ever? Come over here.
It's me now. Go away.
Run. Yeah.
I figured he probably hits the thing and therefore doesn't hit me because it's above me. So I didn't think he would still hit me if he hits the post.
Oh, God.
Whoop! That's the thing.
Haha, but I can run faster than the missile.
Yeah. Faster than a speeding bullet or whatever the fuck is a song and shit. Faster than a speeding bullet. I don't remember the context for that anymore.
What?
I can't make it sound right because I don't remember what it was supposed to sound like in whatever original context. Phew! Owie, my nose.
I don't even know what the original context is.
I don't know. It sounds like a superhero jingle.
The Motherlode. Sounds like Spider-Man based on the humming. Or like
well, yeah, I was thinking of it. I was mixing up one song's lyrics with a different thing's like tempo or something.
Ah.
Oh yeah, I was thinking yeah, that was Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Captain Planet,
he's a hero.
Gonna take
pollution down to zero. Yeah, that's the rhythm I had. That was the jingle, but I was trying to apply speeding bullet to it. Maybe it's not even a superhero thing. Maybe it's Iron Maiden.
What? I don't know. Maybe.
Faster than a speeding bullet, brighter than 1,000 suns. It's Painkiller.
Oh.
It's Painkiller by Iron Maiden.
Okay, that makes sense.
There we go.
Yeah. I was like, what? Oh,
yeah.
Someone's fighting him.
Oh shit, where is he?
He's over here.
Oh fuck, we better get in there before it's too late.
I'll help out.
This is our chance for victory.
We'll never get this many people again.
That was one of the coolest moments of there's two really memorable music moments in Brutal Legend, and that was one of them. Because one is you break your way out of like an exploding coliseum, and Through the Fire and Flames is playing while you're like driving with your car and cruising through all the exploding shit, and then you fight the final boss, and it's playing Painkiller.
Oh.
It's like, yes.
I was kind of disappointed when they did the reveal trailer for Psychonauts 2, because I saw Jack Black and I was like, ooh, are we gonna do another Brutal Legend? And it was like, no, Psychonauts 2. I was like, oh,
Brutal Legend is not
right.
not a cult following. It's just forgotten. That game was just a normal failure, the way that most Double Fine games are.
Double Fine is a very odd company to me. Maybe one day it will make
sense. Take him out of the blizzard. Oh, it's our pets, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's stuck on our pets. That's why he's standing in the blizzard and not taking damage. That's a recurring mechanic in this area, is they have to get them out of invincibility zones. There's some humans that put smoke bombs down. over by the mines. And they're very annoying. But yeah, no, it's like
dots on them.
There's a whole thing where like Tim Schafer and Double Fine have like a collective reputation for like cult following and whatnot. But the actual games they make rarely generated any kind of cult following, let alone be successful. A huge percentage of them just get forgotten immediately and never get purchased much. Like,
yeah, that's why I'm confused by why like people continue to, I'm assuming, back them or give them loans as
like,
a company.
Nobody remembers
like,
their like mech game.
They had a mech game?
Yeah, I think it was called like, I almost said Total Recall. Not Full Throttle. That was the that was like the LucasArts collective. What was it called? Fuck. They had it was a mech game on the Xbox 360. They had to change its name because the first name was like copyright or something. Brigade, something Brigade, I think. They had like a Total Brigade or some shit like that. Super Brigade, Metal Brigade. I don't know. But they had a marathon of like a bunch of smaller projects on the 360, and I think the only one I remember right now is Stacking, which is their Matryoshka doll game. You had to get inside of different like bodies, and then each one of them had their own job. So it was kind of like playing Hitman a little bit. Where you with the disguise system in Hitman, where you impersonate different people.
Yeah, Iron Brigade was the name of the game.
Yeah, no one remembers that game really.
Man, they have a lot of games.
Yeah.
Also, Psychonauts came out in 2005.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Holy shit! Well, like almost
their most
20
memorable
years
game
in the
since
making.
is probably Brutal Legend, which was I think was a massive failure.
No.
I don't think that game worked out.
They did. In 2017, they had Amnesia Fortnite 17, Full Throttle Remastered,
Amnesia Fortnite's not a game, really.
And then they had Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin.
Yeah, it's a VR game that they made.
Okay.
After they announced Psychonauts 2, they eventually came out with the Psychonauts VR, like, kind of mini game, I think.
2019, they did Rad.
Amnesia Fortnite is an annual Humble Bundle game jam thing that they do.
Yeah, they did a roguelike called Rad that came out.
Called what?
Rad. R-A-D.
Rad?
Yeah.
I never even heard about that one.
I didn't either.
I know
came
about
out in August of 2019.
I know about Massive Chalice, which is kind of like XCOM with a lot of melee characters, with the gimmick being that like every time you played a mission, like something like 10 years passed or something in the universe, which meant that everyone was aging out, so you had to like have them like breed in like a civil, like in a chivalry kind of way. Was that what the game? No, not chivalry. What's that 4X game that Effie likes? I just played it. God damn it!
I don't remember. Sorry.
It's the real. It's like Civilization, but real time, and it's all about like lines of succession.
Oh, Crusader Kings.
Crusader Kings, yeah. Massive Chalice was like Crusader Kings crossed with XCOM, because that XCOM style combat. But you do a bunch of these combat missions, and time's always passing, so you have to maintain bloodlines, because you need to keep birthing the next generation of warriors, or you're fucked. And they're inheriting traits from their parents, so you're making choices there.
That way. Make sure you put the thing down before you kill these guys, if that's what you're trying to do.
Did I forget to do a thing?
Yeah, there's a.
No,
you're supposed to put down.
I don't have that objective.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if you're killing these guys
I'm gonna go back south again.
For a goal, then you need to.
Yeah, that one becomes a daily quest.
Gross.
So I've seen that one around.
Yeah, they have a lot of games actually, but they're just not good games. So
one of the ones I remember is there's Space D of 9, I think, which I think we had Marty play that for a Let's Try.
That came out in 2014.
And like that game was controversial because they had a Kickstarter and everything, and it had this big development thing, and then they eventually just said fuck it, and just said it's 1.0 now, and like didn't finish the game.
Sounds like a Double Fine production for sure.
Because they keep having early access and Kickstarter games, but they have troubled developments all the time. Like how
they're a company that runs like 100% in the red.
Now I remember the big iconic, like the big important thing that they made, which is kind of also kind of forgotten now, but it's most remembered for its legacy, which is that
Grim Fandango?
no, that was way older. I'm thinking about more recently there was Broken Age.
Oh yeah, I played Broken Age.
Because Broken Age was the big Double Fine adventure game Kickstarter, which was like a big record-breaking thing that kind of opened the gate for a lot of people to the idea of Kickstarter being a way to get indie games done. There's this big record-breaking thing, but when it came out, it was kind of like, that's fine, I guess. And then also
some might call it Double Fine.
But the issue that happened with that game is that they had this record-breaking Kickstarter, and it still wasn't enough to get the game done. So they released it as Act 1, and then used the sales of Act 1 being sold to then finish the game, and then patch the rest of the game into it, basically. So they finished the game by selling half of it. And then like, alright, now that that's on sale, we have enough money to continue developing the game and finish it. It's like, whoops.
I think there's always the argument that Double Fine makes they put a lot of quality into their games, but it kind of just sounds to me like they have really bad finance management.
Well, that seems to be the takeaway, but for both Tim Schafer and Peter Molyneux, is that they were constantly framed as being like these like developer geniuses that are just being held back by the AAA machine that kept not greenlighting their projects or compromising their projects or making them ship unfinished games. Yeah. But in both of their cases, when they were given the chance to run a studio all on their own and had a lot more autonomy, they kind of revealed themselves to have like deep flaws in how they run everything, and that's why they always grind against publishers and have problems, is because they just fundamentally have like issues with how they run companies, and they mismanage projects. Or more specifically, Tim Schafer seems to have budgetary problems and management problems and expectation problems, and then Peter Molyneux is just constantly promises too much and then doesn't deliver on it.
I was gonna say, isn't Peter Molyneux just a literal fraud? Like, that's just his entire...
Yeah, he just continually lies about what his games are going to be like, and then... I think
well, didn't they also do that one game where...
Like, there was the narrative that was supposedly was being caused by AAA people forcing them to like, put their games out, but then it was very much made clear that like Peter Molyneux just can't manage a project and overpromises because he just wants to add 1 billion things to every game, and he has infinite feature creep. But no, he had a game that was called like Curiosity or something like that, where you just poke at a giant cube and everyone in the entire world was all poking at the same cube to like take it away block by block and try to reach the center.
Yeah.
And then the guy who reached the kid that reached the center was just some random person that just fired it up one day, and like because they heard about it and they weren't that particularly engaged or interested in it. So it was like a funny thing where like all these people that put a lot more time into it didn't happen to be the one that won, because it was this one kid that just kind of like tried it, that happened to try it at the time. But there was the big promise that you would make. I think there's supposed to be a cash prize, and you would there's supposed to be a monetary prize, and you would meet the developers and come to the studio and so on, and you would become like the god of their next game.
Oh yeah, the god of the next game thing.
And like all of those things went wrong, from what I understand, because there was a follow-up on that, an interview about that, and I was like, oh wow, this is crazy, because I think I heard about it on Giant Bomb's podcast when I was in college, and at the time I heard, when I was listening to this, I was like, oh fuck, because it was like occurring to me then that like, wow, this was like 2 or 3 years ago. How did this turn out? And the story about how it turned out did not go great, because like the kid was still pending any kind of actual prize money or anything like that, and when he went to the studio, he just kind of awkwardly was sitting there, and like everyone they weren't even like eating with him at the lunch table and stuff like that. Like it was just like he was just kind of really awkwardly there and kind of feeling unwelcome and like a weird burden. And then I think the game that he was supposed to become the god of or whatever just got canceled.
Yeah.
So like the game never finished or didn't have that feature or never launched at all or something. And so that entire concept kind of just came and went. So like that, yeah, he made this big fucking hype machine, Curiosity, that was like the equivalent of PT, but like way worse. where it's like just an ad for the real project, except PT had its own intrinsic value and was weird and crazy, whereas Curiosity was basically just a bunch of people grinding to make a trailer unlock, essentially. Like it's just a promotion for their next real game, and then they never delivered on that game, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah, there's a lot of questionable choices that go down with some game studios.
It's like it's like Peter Molyneux desperately needs to be like cloistered away and never allowed to talk to any press, and just try to make a regular ass game, just ship something.
I don't think he can.
Just
I don't think
do it.
him talking to the press. I think him talking to the press is so they can get him like away from the studio, so that way they can focus on doing at least something. And then he comes back. He's like, "Hey guys, I told everybody we're gonna add the 6 new features," and they're like, "Fuck, all right."
No.
Like, we can't send you anywhere, can we?
So I specifically remember I was subscribed to Game Informer at the time, and I was introduced to Peter Molyneux and whatnot because Fable
doing cover pictures.
Yeah, Fable was the cover game for that issue, and so you know I'm like, oh, what's this crazy game? It's so ambitious sounding. It's crazy. It's like you go camping and like you can get sick if you don't like keep yourself warm and fed and whatnot, and like you can catch a cold when you're camping, and like there's these werewolves everywhere, and like if they get you, you can get infected and have to play the entire game with like the werewolf curse and whatnot. And it's like you played then you played Fable when it actually came out, and it was like a really bare bones RPG. Like it had very little going on with it. The most interesting thing about the entire game was just the fact that it had this like weird system where if you hit people with magic or melee or ranged attacks, then half the experience would be designed to be spent on that skill tree. So everyone you killed gave you neutral experience and an amount of experience that was based around what type of attack you used on them, basically. And so you can only boost that tree for the most part, but they gave you some neutral so you could still have some like mobility on your trees. Like that's all it really was, and it's like it really wasn't that interesting. But that was one of the only systems they had. I think it was the sequel that pointlessly added like real estate management, but its management was just you buy it and then you get random money and at different intervals, like in Assassin's Creed.
You can upgrade the homes to get more value out of them. Like you can invest
but
money
you didn't really
into the homes.
You didn't have to
stuff,
make any interesting choices though. You just
no. There was no
them.
like.
You just dump all your money into buying houses or upgrading your houses, and then just
It's
it would just
basically
keep
the GTA
and it would just,
mechanic.
Yeah, and it would just keep rolling in over time, and then you can get fat.
Which is also a GTA mechanic.
Because they made it so that all the stuff you could eat makes you gain weight, which is kind of cruel in a genre that's all about consumables and whatnot. Because you're just cursed.
But
like its morality system wasn't new. Like there wasn't anything new about Fable 1 really. It just kind of was a fairly standard action RPG. And I remember feeling that lie, because you know me. I'm like, werewolves, neat. So I went into a forest and just let the fucking werewolves attack me. And they killed me like 3 times, and I was like, I don't think you can become a werewolf in this game, guys.
Oh, Keith, you can when you bought the DLC.
No, they never added DLC.
Oh, was that not Fable?
You're thinking Morrowind.
Yeah, I was thinking
Morrowind has an entire expansion where you can be a werewolf, which I have covered on this channel now.
God.
Blood Moon.
How did they?
Yeah, no, he's kind of a hack, because like all of the things he had.
Come back. Because they announced the new Fable, and I was like, yes, good. I can't wait. I hope it has Peter Molyneux running it. I hope it's just like Fable HD edition, basically.
It was really disappointing hearing him. If he did it for a whole trilogy, he hyped up how innovative and fucking crazy his RPGs were gonna be, and then made incredibly standard action RPGs 3 times in a row. And anything that stood out was mostly just felt like it was weird for the sake of it. Like in one of the Fables, you leveled up by walking through a weird physical dungeon that was in your dreams or something, and opened chests. But it's like, okay, this is different. But why? Like what? This isn't really innovative. It's just a weird way. It's just a weird way of expressing a level of a screen. But it didn't necessarily serve a purpose, and it was actually kind of annoying to do.
he is definitely, I can imagine he's definitely somebody who would walk into like a meeting and pitch a really dumb idea and everyone just has to go along with it because it's Peter Molyneux. Like, he definitely seems like that guy where he walks in and is like, what if you leveled up by going into a dream? And someone's like, no, no, that sounds awful.
Do that.
Yeah, and he's like, no, you know what? No one else has done that, right? Let's do that. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
Peter, please.
Probably the most interesting thing in the
please.
probably the most interesting thing in the entire Fable trilogy was third game, where they had the part where you win, but you win like
what?
You win like halfway through the game, and then you find out like, actually, here's why the guy was evil. He was trying to prevent this bad thing, and now you have to run the country when the bad thing's coming. Was like the most creative thing they did in the entire series.
Yeah, I know, Keith. I bought the fucking collector's edition.
That's how we met.
And I hated it. I fucking hated that game so much.
But it's still the most interesting idea they had.
Fucking chicken chasing.
Chicken chaser, you chase chickens. Chicken chaser.
I wanna die. It was.
Ba-da-ba-doom.
Where do you put these people? Volpura banners planted. Ow.
How do I feel about my view count? I make a full-time living by playing video games for the internet. I feel pretty good about it.
He wishes that 14 billion more people could watch his videos per day, but the Earth just can't sustain that kind of population. So he just has to make do with what he gets.
Yeah. It's a shame there's not more than 28 people in the entire world, otherwise I could have more views.
It is weird, yeah. We tried looking. There just isn't anybody else outside. Something.
Oh shit!
Pandemic.
I need to feed him. Uh-oh, he died.
I don't even know how you would respond. What does that even mean? Oh yeah, we talked about this before. There is a
shit. No, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. There we go.
There is a slight disconnect that a lot of people, I think, have looking at your view count because you make so many videos, and it's not like PewDiePie or Markiplier where like, yeah, the video he released today has 14 million views. It's not gonna happen because Keith is getting his views over the course of like 17 million videos that he's uploaded over the past year.
I always wonder about those kinds of YouTubers, and where I'm like, do they hire people, like a decent number of people, or they just sit on their dragon hoard of money?
What do you mean?
Because I look at the money I make, and it's like, it's not mind-blowing, but it's like, it works. And I'm like, oh god, how much money are they generating then? What do they do with it? Do they
mostly buy nice houses?
Do they just like hoard it?
Lavish.
Or do they have employees? Because like with like Aaron Hansen, I'm like, okay, he has like 30 employees, it feels like. So like I get where money goes there. He has a business and he hired a bunch of his friends and whatnot. But for some people that seem like solitary figures, I'm genuinely like, where does the money go? Stocks?
Stocks?
Does all their money just go into stocks?
I think a lot of it just goes into I would imagine just back into like the channel. They buy, either they, buy a home or they buy better equipment and then they just sit there. I don't know. Maybe they do just hoard it. Maybe there's like a fear that they'll never have YouTube in like 5 years, so they just hoard all of it. Oh, well, I'm sorry. I'm not in the right crater. Sorry, I can't plant
the Ungoro
banners
crater.
in these corpses. It needs to be the other snake corpses.
I definitely like took like a little like nostalgia hit when I opened Battle.net and it had the announcement, like full screen announcement, like now WoW Classics and Ungor. They have the AQ raid is now in there. I'm like, wow, they've looped around back to when I was definitely playing by then. Because specifically, I don't remember what character at what level necessarily. It's probably my Orc Warrior, so he's probably like level 30 or 40. Probably 40. He was in Tenaris. Like back then, my Orc Warrior was in was in Daenerys, and he's like my highest level character ever at that point. And the AQ event was happening, which is like a giant, like grindy faction-wide thing you had to do, where you had to like sit there and you had to like sit there and like turn in resources over and over again at vendors every day or whatever, and you're like racing to be like the first server to open the gate, because every single server had to individually earn the raid essentially.
Oh yeah.
But the launch event on my server was so crippling that it was like killing the entire server. And then I don't know if it was the event of it trying to open or if it was the event of so many players trying to be there or whatever. But I had never been to Silithid before, so I jumped down from Daenerys into Ungoro Crater and had tried to cross it past all the dinosaurs. And those fucking dinosaurs were like skull difficulty because they were all 10 levels or more higher than me. So I had to like, I was like trying to stealth past them as a non-stealth character, just trying to like skirt around them and get through it. Just trying to get to Silithid, just so I could see what was happening, because it was just like an exciting, weird thing. It was my first time like being in an MMO when like an event thing was happening. But what on top of everything else, I had that bug where you just realize that everything's not moving around you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Which means that the server's like not processing your movement right now, and then once it refreshes, you're gonna just suddenly find out where you actually are, and you're gonna teleport to you like running into a tree or whatever, or dead because of all the skull monsters everywhere. And so over and over again, I just kept dying because it would lag for like 5 minutes straight, basically, and then when I was done lagging, I would finally see what was really happening, and it was invariably that I was dead.
Yeah, it's just like you
just over and over again,
fast replay of your death. Just like, dead.
Yeah, I'd just be dead over and over again. It was brutal. But the thing about WoW is that you then have to run back to your body as a ghost.
Yep.
And my ghost would also be lagging, so I couldn't get to my own body. I think I spent like 3 hours trying to cross Ungoro Crater, and just despairing over the fact that I couldn't get to the event, before I finally just gave up, basically. And I was like repeatedly disconnecting from the server, and like all this other shit was happening. It was just such a fucking mess.
What the fuck is going on here?
But it's definitely seared into my brain now. There we go. No, we don't know anything about Daggerfall. I've never played the original Daggerfall, so I don't have any things and thoughts about it, a remake either.
Did they try not making it?
Daggerfall's the one that was like staggeringly big, in part because they barely had to render any visuals compared to modern standards, so it's like bigger than every other Elder Scrolls game, but like by like an order of magnitude.
So here's the thing. Here's my hot take on that. Why don't you just make a fucking new thing for once? Really tired of this company.
Well,
they're
saying spiritual successor, not remake. So that is a new thing.
Don't make a spiritual successor. Make like just something completely different for once. Just that's not related at all to any of your previous shit.
Capitalism.
Like, why?
You have to be able to name drop a thing that gets people excited, or they won't like it. Or just pretend you're doing something exciting and new when you're not, like Ghost of Tsushima.
Fine, I'll double down on my hot take. None of those are ever good.
There was all this hype about Ghost of Tsushima.
It's probably not good. That's why you're name dropping. It's because otherwise it's shit.
There's stuff like Stardew Valley and stuff like that, where the whole idea is to be a spiritual successor to a franchise that's not getting love and so on.
But it's not.
Essentially making a bootleg sequel.
Stardew Valley is a completely different thing from Harvest Moon.
Yeah, but it still takes after Harvest Moon is the point, and it works for some people apparently.
Also, it wasn't made by the same company that made Harvest Moon.
Yeah, but still a spiritual successor. I'm saying like it's a game where a lot of its success comes from the fact that it was being like, I'm like that thing that's not getting made lately. And you have like, you have like for Sonic the Hedgehog, you have Freedom Planet, and for
Daggerfall's instance, it's made by the original Elder Scroll devs,
Sonic,
which means they're not making something new.
For Mega Man, you have 20XX and stuff like that.
Mega Man is so poor. Mega Man.
And
No
there
one
was
has made a
and there
good
was some game I
spiritual
played
successor to
recently
Mega
that was a
Man.
spiritual successor to Mega Man Battle Network.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I just don't give a shit about a spiritual successor to Daggerfall. I don't see size as a good thing in games.
That's because you have limited time.
Well, not even that. I want like level design and shit. I don't want fucking spam. I don't want
No.
5 billion similar pieces of technically different content. Like I'm perfectly
that
happy
sounds?
to
Sounds
I'm
like
perfectly
Quitter
happy to
talk.
play the Yakuza series that takes place on like 4 square blocks. In fact, I gotta say, Andrew, that is a fascinating fucking game series to play.
I have them,
And,
I
like,
just
what-
need to start them.
Like I've told you, I've had long conversations where I tell you about like all the narrative aspects and other aspects that are enjoyable, and how it's like a beat 'em up crossed with like a visual novel crossed with like this hyper dramatic like Yakuza storyline crossed with a bunch of like really wacky and silly side stories that are often really charming. But on top,
Yeah.
but a thing that I didn't talk about back then, in part because I didn't have the perspective yet either, is that one of the weird appeals of playing Yakuza is that they all take place in Kamurocho pretty much. Maybe all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like it's on and off where like certain games have like a secondary location you visit in addition to Kamurocho, and it changes from game to game and so on. But it's still like up in the air from game to game. Like Judgment, the spiritual successor, not spiritual successor, the spin-off that has none of the same characters but the same setting, is just Kamurocho and no secondary location, whereas some of the other games have 2 places or more. But the weird appeal there is that one, it shows you how unnecessary it is to have a giant map, because you can just not only have an entire like 30-hour like JRPG take place in one like city neighborhood, but you can have like 8 games take place in the same city neighborhood, and it's not a problem. You're like, because you just swap things out, like, oh, now this guy owns this building and now this is happening, and oh wow, we're gonna focus suddenly on this. Like suddenly you're like focusing on characters that own these bars in the Champion District, where in other games the Champion District just kind of exists over there and a couple side quests happen there, but it's not that big of a deal to the main story. And it's like all these games keep fleshing out Kamurocho more and more in this tiny setting. But also you get this cool aspect where you get to experience Kamurocho changing over time, because as time passes in the like between games, like it's not even just the next year. Like I think when the games are coming out years apart, the time passing in universe was similar to the time passing between the releases. And so now you've got something like 15-20 years of time passing in Kamurocho. So like there's little like construction projects and like the
You're seeing new buildings, you're seeing new stores, like
the
everything
neighborhoods
is changing.
the neighborhoods physically change. And it's like really interesting.
There's like an that's, I think that's kind of like the appeal of how do I phrase this? That's like kind of the selling point that they do with Japan, which is every district is its own little ecosystem. And that's why there's a lot of trying to think of a good example. So like there are markets. So you'll see these like random markets if you ever go, or in anime you'll see them a lot too. There's like shopping districts, and the shopping districts are slowly being phased out in exchange for, like, you know, how America does it, which is plop a fucking Rayleighs in every town, clap your hands, everyone has to go to that Rayleighs. And Japan kind of has like this pushback where they want to keep the shopping districts because they are part of that ecosystem where, like, you know, little shops pop up in those shopping districts and they change over time, but they're like its own economy system almost. Like, you don't need to leave the district to go get groceries or to go, you know, buy stationery or to do whatever. It's all in your shopping district. And like, because the idea is that each district is its own little, you know, like its own micro city.
This is part of the idea that you can also just like walk out of your house and just reach everything.
Yeah, I mean, the transport system makes it so you can literally just leave and go anywhere else in Japan you want to for very cheap and really easily. which is I'm very envious of that forever. I just hate living in a third world country.
Yeah,
but it's fine.
The density always sounds a little rough.
It really
just living in like a crowded city and whatnot, but definitely the appeal is just the idea of like you could like walk out of wherever you're staying down to the street, and then there's just like places to eat there.
Yeah.
Whereas like growing up in a suburban neighborhood and always living in them, you're like, I have to drive for miles to reach places that aren't houses.
So that's the thing is I mean I also grew up in a suburban neighborhood with nowhere anywhere near me, and both times being in Japan, the one thing that I don't like is how far away everything is here. I hate that I have to actually, like drive anywhere. It's such a waste. It makes sense in the context of like groceries, but then when you look at people who get groceries in Japan, it's like, yeah, I just have like a little scooter, and I just live close enough that I can walk to a shopping district and I just buy food for the day, and it's like, what? You buy food for the day? That's inefficient, right? Like, why would you just buy food for one day? It's like, so I just go outside and walk and get food tomorrow. And it's like, oh, yeah, I can't do that. It takes like, it's a pretty long jaunt.
Yeah,
to go get food
it's
for
always
me.
like the when the apocalypse happened, it's always about like picking up like 2 weeks of supplies, then going back in my hole. But
yeah,
even before then, that was basically what my shopping habits often were. Was just like, well, time to pick up like a few weeks of food, and then just there we go. That's my trip. Because it's a bit of a hassle to go to food. So you make the trip count. But but on the topic of Yakuza, like there's a specific feeling that happens when you live in a city, and then you're there for like decade or decades, and then you move away, and then you come back. Oh fuck. There's like a specific thing where like you come back years later, and
what
things
the fuck are
that
we doing?
Everyone jumped down in a crazy path. I don't know, I'm just kind of playing along. Move to line of sight. Shit. It says break line of sight. I'm like,
I can't, I'm feared.
Yeah, we were supposed to break line of sight to not get feared. There was like nowhere to go to break line of sight at the time because I didn't know what was gonna happen.
Jesus Christ. Okay, can we not do it this way? What are we doing? What the fuck?
I think somebody decided that they just wanted a specific boss, and so they just skipped to it. I don't know if we're gonna get a full run out of this one. This is weird. You gonna do it again, or? No. I think I was out of range. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Like if you go back to your hometown, like after living away for years, there's a weird aspect of like a bunch of shit that felt permanent is suddenly different, and like really weird changes happen that you don't quite expect. And it's kind of hard to explain like the idea, but like when you live it, you live it. And there's a weird aspect of like I guess this place was changing over time back when I lived here, but like I never really noticed because it was gradual and I saw every change. So like, it's really jarring when you go back to a town you used to live in, and like suddenly there's a bunch of weird roads and stuff that just didn't exist before. Or like I think about like the there was this one path we'd always took to get to school. With the buses always take us on that road, and it crossed train tracks, and those train tracks would often be blocked by the fucking train going back, zigzagging back and forth to unload something, and we'd just be like a half an hour late to school because we'd just be sitting in traffic and shit. And it'd be like a fucking miles of cars.
And now that train has a fucking Amtrak station.
Yeah,
It's
but,
like,
but
what?
also now there's an overpass over the
Yeah,
entire
because
train
that had to-
tracks.
That had to fit the Amtrak station. That's why it's there.
Yeah, so it's now an overpass that just skips over the train tracks, so it can never be a problem for traffic ever again. And I'm like, it's like where there used to be a really specific landscape, now there's just like a very different landscape. There's a big hill, basically, from the perspective you see it from, because it's the overpass. And like a bunch of other things changed, like the back roads of our town. I used to always go down like that one lonely back road of our town when I was getting around, because it was just it connected a lot of places I would go to. And now that's like a 6-lane road with a divider in the middle, and the other side of it that used to be like wasteland is now homes. And yeah, it's just then like the city keeps growing and it's weird. And
it's really weird.
And like something really specific that gets pulled off in the whole sort of games or art aspect, I guess, or whatever, with Yakuza, is that it demonstrates that feeling in a video game in a way that I've never felt before. Because you'd have to, the only way to have that feeling is to spend so much time in a location and then change it. Like, it's not enough to just show a place then be like, oh wow, it's different now, over and over again. Like if one JRPG tried to show one city changing by having the city change like 4 times over the course of the game, it still wouldn't be long enough for you to fully feel at home in each one. You just be like, oh, it's different now, okay. But like Kamurocho, you spend so much time there in each game, and then you come back for a new game and it's different now, and you feel the differences, because like you're at the point now where you're memorizing the streets, like you know what the neighborhoods are called and stuff like that. And so when things change, you're like, what? Oh, that place got a bull statue now. And like, and you notice, it's fucking weird. It's really cool.
That's really good level design.
What's that countdown for? Oh, the front door.
Yeah.
Where's the mechanic here? I'm just gonna kill these totems, I guess.
Yeah, we have to kill the totems.
Yeah. So they seem to be named after the idea of bringing them back to life. Yeah,
you die with me.
But yeah, you just at first you're kind of confused and you're kind of lost, but you're just kind of going with it because you know you can navigate this place because you can navigate any game. It's fine. But over time you start memorizing. Like people will say in a place and you don't even have to check. You're just like, oh yeah, the champion district. Not only do I know where that is, I know how to get there from where I am right now because I know exactly where I am. And it's like a cool aspect of that. And then they change it from game to game, and it's like it's just fucking trippy. Like, oh, they replaced that one underground bar with a VR lounge. There was like a brutalist, like sort of weird, like high rent but like ironically low rent looking bar that was like all like cinder blocks and underground in like a bunker, and now it's a VR lounge. You're like, whoa, they changed it. And you like notice these things. It's always trippy.
They are changing.
Was I not supposed to do that? Do we have a mage? No, we don't have a mage. Okay. I was briefly like, they look like they were in ice things. Was I supposed to not break those? But we don't have a mage, so I don't know what those ice things were.
That'd have been a hunter trap.
There's no one here to. Oh, did you do it in the hunter trap?
Nope.
Yeah, I thought I saw ice things, but I didn't really know what it meant.
Yeah, I don't know who is icing.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Tank is a paladin.
It was just time to cast my AoE, and I saw a group, so I cast it on them. But then right after I cast it, I was like, am I breaking? Am I breaking shit I'm supposed to be breaking right now? He just shot. I think it's an assassination rogue. Yeah, he's using Shadow Step, I think.
True rogue.
There's no, you can never quite feel right as a rogue because they split them into 3 rogues and you can't get all your skills on any of them. It fucks me up that slice and dice and poisons and bleeds are all three. They're like, oh, that's a poison and bleeds are one build. Slice and dice is another build, and backstab is another build. The assassination one, the assassination build. Oh fuck.
So a lot of baddies.
I did it. Fuck, that's the healer. It's a real big A+ on our part, isn't it?
I don't feel like this tank is very good at holding aggro.
I don't think this. Well, he doesn't have it. Let's see, I guess I'll release and run back.
Oh, he doesn't have a healer. He's dead. Why do you keep pushing? Stop pushing.
Yeah, he doesn't have a healer right now.
Holy shit, dude.
2 of us died in the fire because we're big geniuses with big brains.
So wait, both of you are not in this boss fight right now?
Oh, you're in a boss fight?
Yeah.
That's not ideal. Shit. Was this the way through? I have to go like the long way around again, don't I? Yeah, 2 of us died in the fire, including the healer.
Awesome.
Well,
Well, we're gonna win it, so it's okay.
Maybe the tank doesn't give a shit because they're level 5 billion. Oh yeah, he's a raider, so fuck it. Damn it, I can't even get to the boss though.
Sorry.
Because there's mobs between the boss and where you went. I don't even remember how we got there because we took such a weird path.
Yeah, we took like a funky jump off the wall bullshit. Sorry.
Yeah, this, oh yeah. He's got a level 8 cape.
My thanks for killing the priestess.
This cape's level 8 and so on, yeah.
Succeeded in strengthening my hold on the temple.
Is he also gonna kill Yasma with us?
He's on his way.
Yeah. Is that the way it's going? I don't know how to
He's
navigate
put
this
a lot
place.
of things for having no healer.
Well, he doesn't give a shit. He's level 5 billion.
I mean, I give a fucking shit. God damn it!
Yeah, but he's not here to play as a team. Because he knows he'll be fine. How the I'm so lost. How did we get there? I'm trying to recreate the path we took to get to the boss, and I'm lost. Are you trying to kick him? Is that you?
He's basically yeah, he's basically just like pulling us.
Yeah, but we're gonna win the dungeon at least.
I don't care if we win the dungeon if we can't actually like fucking do it. I'm afraid I'm gonna fucking accidentally die and then he's gonna leave me behind and I can't do the actual fucking...
Well, the druid and I just figured out the path again. We lost track of which path we took because it's confusing to navigate back to here. We just had to do a better job of not running into the fire. There we go. You over here? Down here? But yeah, he's got such high level raid gear that he functionally can't die, so he's just going forward continuously. That's why he keeps pulling everything so fast.
Awesome. We're not that way. Could you not do that?
There we go.
Team is splitting up now. Which fucking direction are we going in? What the fuck is...
Yeah, I'm confused. I just got here and everyone just ran in different directions.
Where is this guy? He's this... Okay, he's...
Yeah, this is why when it was time for me to play the dungeons finally, I'd never played normal. Or I didn't opt into normal by default because I was like, this stuff won't be calibrated for me on a fundamental level. It'll feel like I'm out of bounds. At least we get credit.
Dazar will awaken soon, but you will not live to see it.
Yep, he's just fighting a boss.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, it's because he can solo this whole place.
Why are you even here then? What do you fucking need?
He doesn't need help. Because he's a paladin, so he can fucking self-heal. He doesn't even need a healer. Assuming he even takes damage, which he probably won't. He probably just kind of won't take damage.
That defeats the purpose. That should not be possible to do.
Like, even if you so much as kind of heal when you attack a little bit, or like you just consecrate the area a bit or something like that, like that's probably enough healing to outdo all of the damage you're taking because you're so high level. There we go.
What a fun experience. Wow. All right.
Yeah, we were just here to watch.
I definitely don't know what the fuck to do in this dungeon if I had to do it myself.
It's not super complicated. He was just like jumping down and skipping it, kind of.
Sure.
Because there was specifically one guy on the there was a boss on the bottom floor, so he just jumped off the roof straight to it at the beginning.
Yep, that's how I feel too, bud. Even the other DPS is like, why were we here?
Arrogance mixed with boredom. I mean, he might have had a quest to do it.
To do it what, in under 5 minutes? What the fuck?
I mean, I think there are achievements for going through and stuff too quickly. You hate waiting 30 minutes, huh?
Me too.
Bye-bye. Queuing with another DPS does not improve our queue times.
No.
3 DPS looking for the 2 people that actually are rare. Ow. Yeah, we're also we do not want to queue as 3 DPS when there's only 1 instance left to do. It'll take a fucking century.
Yeah. I am a big nope on that.
But yeah, like you get quests. Like
I'm actually out of purple.
When you finish the quest chain of each dungeon, I mean the quest chain of each zone, you get a dungeon quest to do, which necessitates doing the whole dungeon again if you've done it before. But then additionally, your professions will give you dungeon quests.
Oh.
Specifically, I still have one I have to do, which is, you know how you get like gathering skills? And each, starting with I think last expansion, each individual thing you can gather has a 3-star rating, and as you get the stars up by doing certain quests that pop up along the way, you'll get more gathering per gather, which just makes it really valuable. So for all of the main herbs in this expansion, you just get you kind of just RNG loot your way into a weird quest, and then you just sort of do it, and it's not that big of a deal, and then you have your new star, and it's like, yay! But fucking anchorweed, which is the green quality herb, that one, I only have the first quest for upgrading it, I think, and that one requires me to go to Waycrest Manor. And so you have to go through the dungeon, and you need like a party that plays with you, so you can go do the, go get the progress.
Wow.
That's just the whole thing.
Sounds fun.
And I'm like, I'm cursed to keep doing Waycrest Manor. Because it was the only dungeon I covered back in the day when the expansion first came out. Or it's the one dungeon I remember covering back then. What do we do? We just did Atal'Dazar? Yeah. There we go. But then it was the one I did with Nick on Mythic mode. And then after I did it with Nick on Mythic mode, it was then the one that I find out I have to do for my profession. Like right afterwards, I'm like, God damn it.
Well, at least you're very familiar with it.
Yeah.
That means you can speedrun it, right?
I don't remember that well. But there's a few interesting little bosses. Like there's a giant glutton dude that attacks in different directions, and you have to like avoid directional attacks. But he also like has ads coming at him that he'll eat if they reach him, and they'll heal him. So you have to keep killing these things before they reach him.
Hate those types of bosses.
Yeah. There's some silly
like,
stuff going on there.
Please no. Alright, get out of here. Yes. Fucking... My pet keeps dying so frequently here, and I don't know why.
Heal them.
I am, like,
Poor baby.
It's part of the rotation, but everyone's just, like, dunking on this poor fucking pet. Same level as I am. I don't know what's wrong with it. Ugh. Well, it's 9:30 and I
Dudes
am
are getting
level
dangerous.
117.
Yep,
So
we're
that's
getting
not
there,
bad.
but we're not there.
We can speed run it.
Just keep grinding. I mean, if we stay up late, we'd make it eventually, but
We make it
not really,
eventually.
that's not really the appeal.
Keep going.
Pain is the only way I survive.
Don't attack me. I've already done your quest. I don't want to do it again.
Speaking of pain, did you watch the full version of that one interview? With the guy who interviewed Trump for HBO?
No, I haven't watched it yet. It's on
Oh
my...
boy. It gives me a
to it
weird
while I
anxiety
walked, but-
as he just like continually refuses to answer any questions and just like tries to bulldoze past. Not only does he like try to do the whole politician speak thing where you just try to answer a completely different question than the one that they asked, but he doesn't even wait for him to ask questions. He gets like 4 words into a question and gets cut off every time. It's fucking it's so much anxiety.
The moment he was
just
asking,
like,
like I saw the part of the interview where he was asking about what books. He's like, "Let me finish." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he finishes, and I'm like, "Okay, that had nothing to do with the conversation. What fucking books? Let's follow through with that. What fucking books, bro?" It's just like every time, he just
spouts nonsense continuously and has 0 sources, and he calls into question all of the real sources constantly and so on. It's just
I'm confused about why we're only now seeing an interview like this, where I feel like I'm assuming it was because no one would let him, like no one would let them get close enough to the man to have an interview like this. Like he would just not take interviews he knew would be bad for him. But I think now he's in the.
I think there's been some before. It's just that they don't get. I don't think they get necessarily as much attention as this one did. But this one's just so nakedly frustrating all the way through.
Well, we're also in the middle of a pandemic, and he's clearly just like not taking it seriously. Like just like it is what it is. It's like, sir, people died. It is what it is.
Well, he's like Schrodinger serious about it, where he's like, it's like until you observe Trump that day, you have no idea how he's going to be talking about the pandemic, because he keeps one foot in both pools at all times, and the idea that it's like simultaneously not that big of a deal and maybe a myth and so on, but simultaneously talking about how like also it's like a reason why we can't do a real election, and also a reason why whatever is convenient to him has to go that way and so on. And yeah, it's very frustrating. Like he keeps talking about mail-in ballots like they're new, and like we can't do them.
It's because they're called mail-in ballots. People don't call them what they are. If you called them absentee ballots, he wouldn't be against them, because he fucking uses it. Like he has never voted in person his entire life as a human. He's always done absentee ballots, but people call them mail-in voting, and some fucking wizard at the White House probably said, "Well, Mr. President, mail-in votings are known to fraud," and no one said absentee ballots. So now he has it in his fucking dumb head.
It's frustrating just watching him explicitly lie all the time, but we knew that was going to be that way from day one.
Yeah,
but it's just like
he's been explicitly lying since he was.
It's just the fact that he knows that he can continue to lie every single time, and it'll never matter. Like it never comes back to bite him in the ass, because like everyone who supports him just filters out the fact that he's a grifter, and just all the times he just lies repeatedly and forever, continuously. It's like the only thing he does basically. It just doesn't matter. You
have to. If you don't, like, what what do you do?
He still
you
keeps
know?
he still keeps beating the line that he's done more for black people than any other president, which what he's saying before. But now he amends it with by saying with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. Like he still like caveats it a little bit. Like he had the caveat for Lincoln because he got called out so hard on being fucking idiotic when he said it originally. But he still like adds the caveat that maybe Lincoln, like Lincoln, he might still be able to beat Lincoln. And yet in the interview, the guy calls him out like, what about the president that signed the fucking Civil Rights Act? And he's like, no, so how's that working out for them? Like acting like implying that civil rights was like a mistake, basically.
Well,
like
it was for
like
white, rich people who didn't want black people to have land.
He thinks he's done more for black people than the guy that signed the Civil Rights Act or Lincoln. It's just like it's an insane claim to make.
You have to keep saying ridiculous things. It's like a fucking hose. Never turn it off.
Meanwhile, he's asked about like, would you meet with the Black Lives Matters activist if you had the chance? And he keeps like blowing past it and like not really answering the question continuously. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to take in.
That's the thing, is like even
and
just
like
the interview
like a major African American activist just died, and like Obama spoke at his funeral and everything, and Trump's comment on him was basically like, he put a lot of energy into civil rights, but other people did too. And and that's all he says, and I'm like, huh.
He also didn't go to that funeral, by the way.
That's incredibly minimizing.
Which is great. Yeah, for Lewis, he had said that he still thinks that he did more for black people than Senator Lewis did, and also that Senator Lewis should have came to his inauguration. Like that's relevant somehow to a dead man.
Yeah, he brings it up over and over and over again. That like I think he straight up says it like 3 times over the span of 2 minutes that Lewis didn't come to his inauguration. Like he's really slighted about that. He's really mad.
I was gonna say you're really keeping track of who showed up to this fucking thing, huh?
He's literally holding that grudge beyond the grave. It's fucking incredible.
My personal sanctum was hidden away in the hills.
It's
a small shrine to Sethraliss, where
I'm just confused about who.
Been abandoned for years,
I'm confused about how it's
place
working
to
on
launch
people.
Wait, what
Like I
Ahn'Qiraj doing here?
I understand.
He has a private propaganda machine. He has his own news station that's incredibly popular that will just parrot his talking points and not air any of the times that he gets fucking owned. They'll just not acknowledge them whenever, like this interview. I bet I don't think that like any of my conservative family will ever even encounter this interview because that's inconvenient. So like, and instead of grappling with it, places like Fox News or like Freedom America or whatever that place was, will just like pretend it didn't happen. Because that's what they do. And they do. They've done it. They've done it for the last 4 years, and they'll do it for the next 4 years, and that's their business model.
How?
Like remember when Tucker Carlson was like going off on Obama for giving a speech at Lewis's funeral. Like, what kind of man would go to the funeral of a like go to mourn a dead man and like politicize it and give this kind of speech? And it's like, what kind of man would do that? I don't know, probably Senator Lewis. Like that's like continuing the cause and discussing that stuff.
Yeah.
Like having the one black president we've had so far give a speech about exactly the kind of issues Senator Lewis cared so much about at his funeral is probably exactly what he wanted.
Also, I like how Tucker Carlson has any weight to this conversation. Like, one, he didn't even know the senator at all, which I assume Obama probably did, given, their working relationship. 2, his politicizing was basically trying to push legislation that literally the dead senator was pushing. He just showed up and was like, hey, that thing that he really cared about is really important to stop disenfranchising black voters. We should probably, keep pushing that forward. It's like, how dare you? It's like, how literally what he did till he died. Like, this is his one job. There's, I don't know. I've seen those videos too, where it's during the Obama era, you see them making arguments that they excuse Trump's behavior for, where they're like, I cannot believe Obama would be willing to do something so
they're going on about like
egregious.
That's so incredibly evil. How could they possibly use federal agents against these protesters and stuff? And they're like talking about like those conservative gun nuts that were like basically like just taking a stand against society. But they'll flip completely in a different context, just on a dime. It usually has to do with what color the people are that are doing it.
That's always the thing.
Protesting protesting the outbreak is totally fine, but protesting things that actually matter, how dare you? This is America.
Keith, society is fine just the way it is. If you have a problem with the system, you have a problem with everybody. But if the system is against you, then you can have a problem with it. TM or a asterisk. Only if the system is infringing on your liberties. Star or asterisk. Only if those liberties involve white people.
Whenever Tucker Carlson pisses me off, I just enjoy going back to that video where Jon Stewart cucked him out of his own show. Like, because Jon Stewart was a guest on Crossfire and just fucking demolished it in the eyes of its viewers, and it got canceled shortly thereafter.
He was like, do you enjoy doing this?
Yeah, he came on their show and insulted them to their face because they're just fake. Like they're just pretending they're pretending to be a show about debate, but it's actually like just garbage drivel that's like not challenging the American people and often lying to them and so on. And he that ruined his job. Like it's fucking like it's gone, and it's like, yes. I can look back to that. The biggest and funniest thing about the whole thing is the fact that he says you're a grown man that wears a bow tie, and like in any other context it'd be like kind of whatever about that as a claim, like who gives a shit. But the funny part of this is that it clearly really got to him because he stopped wearing bow ties.
Yeah.
Like Tucker Carlson used to wear these like polka dot bow ties and shit. But Jon Stewart got it under his skin once about it, and so now he always wears ties. It's like a really clear change.
Could you imagine?
It's like he got
the power. Did he go home that day and just like,
he just goes into his closet sobbing and just destroys his entire tie collection? It's time for the new me, the Fox News me. Which is the sad part of this, is that they went from CNN to Fox News, and it's like, oh fuck.
Which is fine, because that's
apparently where he belonged. But Jesus Christ,
it's a downgrade.
I think of like
no one goes to Fox News because they want to. They go to Fox News because they have nowhere else to grift.
Yeah. like there's that fucking the Tucker Carlson show is really fascinating. Like there was that segment they were doing that was trying to scaremonger about Chaz, the neighborhood in Seattle, and like the segment just shows like a guy spinning a stick and like another person like smoking a cigarette and reading a book, laying on the ground, like laying next to a tent, and like everyone's just fucking sitting there, and like whenever it's shown around, people have to clarify like, no, we didn't edit this clip, like he really did use that music, because it's like the music is being handled like it's a fucking like a horror scene. Like this is the fucking destruction of all of America and everything that we stand for. And look at these dangerous, terrifying people. And it's like people just sitting around bored in the street, like not doing anything suspicious or weird. At most, there's like the feel of like a slightly strange homeless person is like the highest peak you reach.
Oh god, don't let them go to like any Bay Area city. They'll be fucking taken aback.
And then of course the biggest hypocrisy is the part of the clip that shows a black guy holding a gun. Like it's like a black guy who has a gun. How threatening. And it's like, excuse me, I thought you guys are supposed to be in favor of the Second Amendment. But it's interesting how that always doesn't apply to people that aren't white. Like white people, Second Amendment, big important, but the moment they're not white, they're suspicious for having a gun. And what were they doing with a gun?
Yeah, why
And
do
it's
they,
like,
why do they need
I'm
a
gonna-
gun? It's
I'm gonna-
America. We have
it's like-
police. They
it's
can
like
take
what?
care of everything.
It's like what? That person has a mask and a gun? I'm gonna show them my creepy montage of all the threatening people at this place. It's like, he has a mask because it's the coronavirus, and he has a gun because Seattle's an open carry state. You're supposed to be in favor of that, but apparently it doesn't count when they're not white. Because then they go into your scary thug marathon, your thug compilation video where you play scary music to scare like 80-year-old white people that aren't used to white.
I'm okay.
It's
Look,
just fucking
you know what?
stressing.
I'm okay with that. Let's keep saying it's scary. Yeah, no one should have guns. It's terrifying. Don't do that. Like, Tucker's right. We have to ban all guns in Seattle. No gun, just no, not even cops can have guns. Take them all away. Just put them in the trash. It's done. Tucker agrees. He is anti-Second Amendment. Like, that's what you need to do. You need to just, like, at some point, start being as ridiculous as the people that you're fighting against.
It was just so fucking funny seeing it, because I'm like, there's two layers of like, it's like, either there's nothing happening there that's worth filming and you just went ahead anyway, or you were just so fucking lazy in your coverage that you didn't catch a single thing worth showing to like defame this place and make a big deal about how it's this big horrible thing happening in Seattle. Like, one or the other. And then you go through the clips that they're showing, and it's like you have to break down, like pause on each one and logically try to explain why that clip was included and what it was supposed to represent, what was supposed to be scary about it. And none of them are good conclusions. Like, a lot of them are just explicitly racist. Like, it's just, oh, they're not white and existing in front of a camera. Terrifying. Because they're not doing anything?
Does Tucker even go outside? Has he seen black people in real life? I don't know if that, I can't confirm that.
Like, he really
Maybe
forgot, they really forgot to try to catch any kind of crimes or violence on camera.
Because Fox just showed up for like an hour and then left.
And just used whatever footage they had.
And broad daylight. They didn't even go like at night, where like when most crime tends to happen. You know, because most people are at work or, you know, at home avoiding the coronavirus. But no, is out there clearly assuming that people are hanging out in the streets with knives and guns ready to do a reenactment of fucking, what is that story with the greasers? I don't remember what it's called.
What?
Remember that, what is the name? Not West Side Story. Damn it, what is the name of that
I was like, West Side Story with the snapping?
Yeah, West Side Story.
I think it's West Side Story that has like the gangs snapping down the street.
I genuinely believe that's what Tucker Carlson was looking for in his coverage. He thought like, oh no, they've taken over the town. Well, it must be like roaming gangs. It must, you know, they must be snapping their fingers down the street as they walk with guns. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you expected, dude. It's
guns, which are good except for when we decide they're not.
Guns are always bad. We only argue that they're good because, you know, grift, gotta grift.
Chat saying The Outsiders.
The Outsiders?
I don't know,
Probably
maybe.
right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know The Outsiders.
No, that's a.
I guess
that's a
I'm the
horror
outsider
movie.
here.
The Outsiders? No, I'm talking about. Maybe it was West Side Story.
I think West Side Story is the snapping one. I only know it as the meme of what it is, basically, because I've never seen it
not
either.
West Side Story. Damn it, what is it? Hold on. Book about greasers.
Book about greasers? There was a book about greasers? I mean, I guess there would be, yeah, but I'm just... I wasn't expecting this to take us into the literary realm. Oh my god, we get to do the last one now.
Wait, maybe it is The Outsiders.
Dungeon.
Yeah, it is The Outsiders.
all four
You're
of
right.
them in
I'm
a
sorry. Thank you,
marathon.
chat. It is The Outsiders. Yeah. It is The Outsiders. The Outsiders was like, I remember reading it in high school and being like, this isn't real life. No one could ever live their life like this. This is stupid. Like, they were like, oh, well, we're gonna go watch a movie and then I'm gonna drop my girl off at home and I'm gonna go to the park and get in a fight with a bunch of gangs. Like, what? Go home. Just fucking sleep. What is wrong with you? It was so weird. But they all
priest, a
had like
hunter,
switch
death knight,
knives.
and another hunter.
And boy,
Everyone's a hunter.
howdy. Everyone's a hunter. It's the best class.
How long have I been playing this game? Like 13 years or something?
7 years ago.
Well, I started like 13 years ago, but I stopped for like 5 in the middle.
He got a life, got a job, and then now that he has a
Then
job,
came back.
and played.
I'm back. I specifically
Stop
quit
me.
because I went down the well of being addicted to the raiding and everything and having to do like a full-time job back then. But nowadays nowadays raiding's casual by comparison.
Yeah.
The game's easier and requires fewer people for raids and whatnot.
Game is less angry.
The raids now scale based on how many people you have within certain ranges.
That's crazy.
So you don't have to have the exact number of people for a raid, because it used to be 40 and then it was 25. Most of the raids we have it's how I know that there's room is that now that I understand it better, is that most of the raids with Sounds Complicated have like 15 people.
Shit, how is this guy doing so much damage? What's happening? This guy's doing like quadruple the fucking damage anyone else on the team could even muster. All of us combined aren't doing as much damage as this guy is.
It's just the paladin again. He's overgeared.
Oh, okay.
Are you talking about the hunter?
No, the
Death Knight?
Yeah, the Death Knight.
Oh yeah, the Death Knight's 120. He's level capped.
Oh, okay, that's
Inspect, everything is purple. And they're like,
Okay.
oh yeah, his eye level is about 450 probably. Which is 200 higher than mine.
Yeah, that's definitely 200 higher than
Yeah,
mine.
he's probably higher eye level than my rogue.
I'm just like, God, he just like, that whole fight, he was doing 500.
It took you that long to get this
500,000
strong? Oh
damage
my
per
god, some
second,
people would
and I
just
was
give
like,
up at
yo.
that point. No, dude, you make different characters in this game.
Oh.
No, I've been playing
No,
this
no.
character for 13 years.
Holy shit, that'd be great. Could you imagine? I mean, if we were playing EverQuest, that would be real. Yeah.
Like I played it back in the
believe that.
day, and then I got rid of my account, and then I'm playing it. Well, yeah, I would have been it'd be nice to have the through line of having my like teenage characters and stuff. But I specifically was trying to quit back then, and then I've been back to it for like 5 or 6 years now, just kind of on and off. But
Keith subscribed to the cold turkey method.
this is like the 3rd or 4th server I've been on since I came back. And on this server, this is like my 3rd most powerful character on this server alone. Because I have a 120, I have a 120 paladin and a 120 rogue.
I have a couple of max levels on other servers.
Yeah. And then my hunter's
Not
catching up too.
120,
Like we're
but they were-
117 and my hunter's already 105.
Yeah, I have a Death Knight that's
he's
at
been on our tail lately.
I think he's 112.
Yeah. Those guys come pretty easy though. The Death Knights and the Demon Hunters are like a free 120 that you just add at the end.
Yeah.
So you just Death Knights less so actually. They start level 55, which is or 58.
Yeah, they start
which
58.
is
It's a little bit lower.
Yeah, it used to be a big boost back when the level cap was lower, but
It will be a big boost soon.
Yeah. Well, I think soon they're not going to have a boost at all. I think
Oh, they're
Demon
not?
Hunters and Death
Definitely?
Knights are just going to be a normal class soon once it gets rebooted.
Oh my god.
So they're going to do the normal 1 to 60 like everyone else. But
why is anyone going to want to play him?
Because they like them. They're both very popular classes.
Nobody likes.
But these days, like the Demon Hunters still start really close to the level caps.
They do, yeah.
Like I think my brother was bragging that he could make a Demon Hunter and have them in level cap in like only a few hours. He's a nightmare.
I probably could if I was like doing I should be doing instance running, but I'm trying to stupidly do the achievements for Legion. So I was trying to go around and like visit every single location and get ready for doing the dailies and stuff. Because I want to be able to fly in every zone for some reason.
I mean, it would be nice. It's just generally useful when you're trying to do stuff and... Oh, God. I have this...
Snacks.
Yeah, snacks. I have this vague goal on my main character to do every quest.
God. Is that a vague goal or is that like a pipe dream?
It's like it's just like one of the things I can chip at whenever I feel like it. Is I can just go and just
back and take on old quests?
Yeah,
like,
they're just gray.
Super low level.
Yeah, you just have to turn your map on. That little like hour. That
Come
little.
on, dude! Show the fuck back up.
There
What's
it is.
going on here?
That magnifying glass in the corner of the screen.
Yeah.
You have to opt into it showing low level quests.
Oh.
Which then, when you have that, and when you go back to like Orgrimmar, you'll see how many random weird quest chains you can still do, because there's just a bunch of weird miscellaneous shit that shows up in Orgrimmar over the course of you leveling up.
Oh my god. This guy is so strong that every time he attacks, the creature
he's killing him
wants
too
to go
fast. Because it's based on a timer. But no, there's an achievement for each of the individual zones of completing each zone's storyline. And so you can just sit there and like kind of just do them one by one. It's a stupid task that doesn't have much payoff, but just kind of fun to have. It's a fun idea to have one character that's done everything. It's up there with the idea of like doing every rep or a lot of reps on one character. Like
I do like the idea of doing reps for every single person. That'd be really cool to just be like, I'm loved by everyone.
Yeah, like just being like, I'm exalted everywhere, and figuring out how to do that. Specifically, what I like is that
everywhere I go, people.
Something I like about the current rep interface is that you can go to any individual reputation and mark it as like inactive, basically, or done or whatever, and it like hides it. So you can physically remove each rep when you get it done, which can be satisfying. Are we having trouble here? What's up?
I don't know.
They seem uncertain about that electro maze.
I think they weren't aware of what the stipulations were.
Ding 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 ding.
You just level up?
Yep.
God dang it.
Well, you're ahead of me.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
How am I ahead of you?
Probably one of the catch-up sessions or something.
Weird.
There was a time where you had to catch up with me.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
There was also a period where I was just kind of hanging around while you were getting caught up, and then you turned on all the quests and maybe out-leveled me when I couldn't make progress for a bit. I don't know.
I was gonna say that might be it, yeah. Questing is weird in this.
Yeah, all the times we have to transition expansions together can be weird.
What level do we have to be to go to the next place? Or to be... Oh, sorry.
What? No, this is it.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, in 2 levels the game ends. And that you hit the end game.
Yeah, for some reason my brain was like, all right, now we gotta go do raids,
your brain just
right?
forgot the context of today.
Yeah. I mean,
but you can mark each rep as an active as you go, which then adds a new drop-down menu at the very bottom of your reputation screen, which groups together all of your exalteds into one list as a result.
That's nice.
So one thing is you have to have I'll have the tab open of all of the Battle for Azeroth reps and all the Legion reps, and I can see them, and then I can just check them off and remove them. So I have a shrinking list of goals to do next, and it's kind of satisfying to see. And then whenever I want to, I can scroll to the bottom and just see here's the fucking 15 exalteds you have so far. So I have I've exalted most of the Battle for Azeroth reps, partly because a lot of them are required for getting flying and for getting the different races that you can play. Then I'm trying to chip away at some of the Legions 1 too. But there's they've added stuff to it. I think specifically there's a amount you get if you get 100 exalted reputations.
Oh really?
Yep.
That makes it even more worth it.
They specifically have achievements that total how many reputations you've exalted so far and reward them, and that's kind of neat.
That should probably be... Can you... Oh, you can't do tabards with people here, can you?
Tabards?
Yeah, do they have the or
yeah, no, you can't.
whatever it's called?
You can't do the whole thing where you wear a tabard and then just grind rep in instances. No, you just have to do daily quests and whatnot.
What?
It pretty much only works for like the OG. It pretty much just works for like the original reputations, like the racials.
For fuck's sake, what do you want from me? What was that?
That guy's carrying a big ol' eyeball. The fuck is happening?
Public safety alert. What the fuck? Is that like an Amber alert?
Is your phone freaking out?
Yeah, CHP alerts. Twitter? Why did you bring me to Twitter? What is this like for real? Alert, blue alert.
The future is
Sacramento.
now.
Why did my phone do this by itself? I have never signed up to be alerted.
No, they're just mandatory. It's like Amber alerts and stuff. You just kind of, you just get them on your phone regardless. Because they're important.
First of all, I don't like the fact that it knows where I am, and that's how it determined it was important. It was like, you're in this area. You need to know this. I'm like, that's none of your
everything you
fucking
do
business.
is tracked. Track. Did
I really get this alert because of this guy? Oh, it's a new feature on Twitter. Okay, cool. Awesome. 10 out of 10. I want to die. I hate this stupid world. I just want to look at anime boobies. I don't care about stupid real world problems. Don't remind me. Don't ever notify me again. I will uninstall you. Fucking... What do you want me to do? Go outside and start looking for a van? I'm not fucking Batman. I ain't doing that shit.
You just hop out in the street right now. I've spotted him.
Right? Like the alert made it seem like it was literally
Go,
playing like
gadget,
the
catch that guy.
It was playing like the severe weather alert, and I thought there was like a severe weather. I immediately looked. I was like, "Oh, is it raining? What's happening?" Like I thought there was a hurricane or something going on. I was like, "What?" And it's like, look at this ugly man. He's wanted." I'm like, "Okay, is that it? Is that what you wanted to tell me?" Is
Look at this ugly man.
You open the tweet, and it's immediately like a picture of a really. It looks like, yeah, I don't know. It's a really ugly guy. And it says, "Look for a white truck in your county. This man's in it."
Look at this man. This man is disgusting.
Yeah, I'm like, what? It doesn't even tell me what he did, why he's wanted. It just says he's wanted, and I'm like, for what? Like, wire fraud, terrorism.
Wire fraud?
Like, what the fuck did he do? It's such a weird.
Emergency! We better catch this guy before he frauds more wires.
Right? We don't want him sending him blank checks to Africa or something. Or Nigeria? Is that where the prince is? Where's the prince?
I rain my checks down on Africa.
That's called colonialism. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Heals, have you... Okay, I'm just gonna heal myself since he's not healing anybody.
Wait, didn't we have these guys before?
Yeah, what?
Did we just start over? I'm confused.
There's a fragment nearby. We need to use it to energize.
Oh, most dipshits don't hit the orb when you can't heal them. Did he hit something when he was unhealable and then die?
There's an orb you have to touch. Gotcha. It's my first time, bud. Sorry. Learn as we go. I got an alert about an ugly man. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I don't know how this works mechanically.
I like how all the replies to this tweet are, anybody else get a notification on their phone? Like, come on, guys. You're just telling other people where you live. You're doxing yourselves. Don't be clowns. Okay, there should be an orb somewhere we gotta caress. Oh. Caress the orb. Caress it. All right. Nice.
No, we won.
Yeah,
What?
we did it.
Did we ever fight a boss? What was that fight? I did not absorb what was happening.
This person was stuck in the center, and we were using the orb to help free them.
That one
And they were
felt
free.
strange, and people were
was weird.
having an argument. It was unpleasant.
That's a negatory.
They're fucking yelling back and forth at each other and shit. It's like, Jesus.
Some of these comments are great. Bro, I thought I was getting kidnapped.
Thought I was getting kidnapped.
Need something?
I was sleeping. I thought it was a child abduction.
Surviving means being resourceful.
Yeah, it's a little.
Scared.
It is a little late for a notification.
Drive-through.
Everyone just gets this weird notification that they don't have context for, and it's just their phone threatening them.
Hurry up and catch him! I'm scared and trying to sleep.
We're all out of dungeons. We beat them too fast.
I was just vibing playing Minecraft, and I jumped from that Amber Alert. How do I... Photo from 2008. Well, then he doesn't... That was like fucking 10 years ago. He doesn't look like that anymore. How full is this? You seriously...
That is interesting that apparently the most recent photo they have is 12 years old.
Well, they have
For
that photo, and
identification.
then they have this other one that looks like they took it off of his fucking Facebook profile because it's just awful. It's literally like... I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna send it to you. Here, this is what he looks like. But this is the tweet. I just sent you the whole fucking tweet. Those are the only two photos they have of this guy. One is clearly like a mugshot from when he got captured in 2008, and the other one is like taken from his most recent Facebook post. Like,
I think I told you about this, but
what you seen this man?
no, it just reminded me of the fact that like it was the Flat Earth video. Bomber Guy's Flat Earth video.
I've seen that.
When we had the horrifying...
Yeah,
I showed it to Stephanie, and she had the horrifying realization about the fact that fucking... the fucking lunatic with the stupid Lunar Lander shirt that he's making fun of in the video... Like he was specifically at a coffee shop that Stephanie had been to before. That is one of a kind. It's not a chain, and it's like, oh god, he's here. It's like that moment of like, oh no.
His shirt makes a lot of sense given where he lives. It could be a tweaker home. That's kind of like common out there.
The last thing you want is to see fucking... just to see specifically your home like listed in those kinds of contexts. It's like there's so much United States. It doesn't have to be this. Ah, fuck, it's us.
Oh, wait a second. I know that place.
This isn't the cameo I wanted.
I've always wanted to be an Bomber Guy video, but not in this way.
Not like this. Not like this. Hey, I think I just did 1, 2, 3, 4 damage.
What? Like the number 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah. Not like this. Not like this. Matrix quotes.
I just got done watching all of the backlog of Jenny Nicholson's videos recently while walking.
They're so fucking watchable.
They're great. So I don't really need to watch them because it's just her sitting on a bed.
They're good for multitasking.
But no,
I
play them.
I tried to sell them on you like a few years ago back at your house. Because I tried to tell you about like the like it's like how you could be so weirdly engaging. Like she has the episode where she talks about like the Forces of Destiny toys, which are like Star Wars toys for girls, and like how it was bizarrely engaging, and you learn weird shit about like, oh, the reason why like action figures are so small because they're all about opposable pieces, but like the
the girl toys were so big because these like children needed to be able to like dress them and change their clothes, because that was the whole gimmick. And that's why the two toys were completely different sizes and whatnot. I'm like, oh, I'm learning things, and she's really weirdly funny all the time. And it's like trying to sell you on that, like all the way back when you were like. But it's
I
like,
took her pants off and I can't put them on, so this isn't on purpose. I'm sorry, she's just pants. Like,
yeah, I was trying to convince you of the value of that channel, but it's just so hard to explain why it's entertaining because the topics are just so weird.
So the weird thing is, like, I was subscribed to her on Sad Games. I just hadn't actually watched anything from her. So like the effort was there. I just hadn't made it yet.
Which is not the real effort.
Yeah, but so then I finally, because when I take Shadow for a walk twice a day, I'm starting to run out of stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Because I normally watch like Did You Know Gaming, which is also another, like, you can just listen to that. You don't need to watch. They're not showing you anything. There's a lot of stuff like that. And then I eventually just ran out. I was like, shit, what do I do? And so I watched the H-Bomber Guy video for Ruby. And I was like, well,
that's 2 hours gone. Now I need another thing.
So that was good enough for both my walks. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just do Jenny Nicholson's videos, because it's kind of the same format, you know? I mean, it's kind of just someone sitting there talking to you for a long time.
No, whenever you need channels, you can just look at my recommended videos playlist. And you'll just find dozens and dozens and dozens of entire channels you can binge the backlog of.
I think the thing with Jenny that works for me is I really like the sense of humor that she has. Like the way she delivers lines is really great. I say that as if she's like playing a character, but that's just her as a human.
It's such a specific it's such a specific like dry delivery.
Yeah.
Of like really very like often really good jokes or great like observations and whatnot.
That's like my kind of humor.
One of the first things I saw from her, which I think I showed you back at the time actually, was Ready Player One for girls.
Oh yeah.
Where she just parodies Ready Player One by just reading it exactly how it's actually written, but just swapping out all of the things in it for 80s girl properties, and it really highlights once you're not just fucking like, oh my god, I'm so nostalgic what the things they're saying, it really like makes it really obvious how much Ready Player One is just listing shit and calling it writing. Because like so much of the book is just name dropping a bunch of things on the surface level, and it's not important to the story basically ever. And it's just so fucking like, it's such a boring, shitty book. The best chapter of the entire book is the first one, where they just set up a creepy dystopia and haven't gotten into the actual virtual reality yet. It's a terrible book. It's nakedly just popular. Yeah. It's just popular for like the ultimate showdown aspect of just being like, oh, it says a lot of things I like.
Yeah, he's like, oh wait, I know Joust, I know Back to the Future.
At least Ultimate Showdown is fucking catchy.
Well, yeah, it's a song.
Because fucking Neil Cicierga's a genius.
This was the Ultimate Showdown.
Every time somebody, I love that particular aspect of that person, is that every time somebody goes down the list of things he's made, they're like, wait, what? He's did that? Because he's like, he's one person that's gone viral like 8 or more times for wildly unrelated reasons, and none of those things naturally connect to each other. So you're just like, what the fuck?
It
like
is
for me, like I knew Ultimate Showdown and a few other things, and then I was just fucking baffled when I found out that he did Potter Puppet Pals. I'm like, what? What? How's that even him? What are the chances that'd be the same person?
Wow.
That guy got some fucking achievements.
That's interesting. Someone just tried to break into my Facebook, which is... Why? What do you want?
Someone's trying to get in.
It's like a fucking graveyard.
Is it the hackers?
Could you
the
imagine?
Facebook hackers?
Imagine the poor, sad human who would actually want.
I want to be Andrew.
Yeah, right? Like, sir. I guess checking my Facebook is the quickest way to find out that that is a mistake, but still, no. Don't do that.
It's fucking agony that when you get to each challenge in Ready Player One, it's like, oh, here comes the part where he's gonna be all like, oh man, yeah, I got to the challenge, but like it was this big tough thing, and fuck, I'm gonna have to like really immerse myself in this thing and study for it, and then I'll finally be able to overtake it after a journey and like a personal growth. But then instead it's just like he gets to the challenges and he's like, luckily I've already memorized this entire movie from front to back, a normal thing that people do.
Oh yeah, I mean he had to, because otherwise, like Jenny says, who memorizes an entire movie?
Yeah, like I think the second challenge of the book is that he has to reenact every scene of an entire movie, and he just does on his first try. And it's like, wow, I'm glad there's no struggle at all. That's the compelling narrative. But also like he's just explaining, like reading the book is just reading a guy explaining to you that the character is reenacting a movie that if you haven't seen, which I hadn't, you're like, okay.
Oh god. I didn't even think about that. What do you do if you haven't seen the movie?
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. Like, I know what Joust is, and I know the song 2112 by Rush, so when those parts come up, I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of know what we're talking about. Like one fucking fantasy Bill Gates, or fantasy Steve Jobs' ex-girlfriend is named Kira from Dark Crystal. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. But like the part with the reenacting the movie, I'm like, I literally don't know what you're talking about. Oh wow, you reenacted a movie. That's cool.
Y'all lost me. What's going on over here?
Wow. I think one of the only times he has to actually kind of grow and learn a little bit about how to, not really grow, but learn how to beat something is the Joust part, where he just keeps losing and he has to figure out like there's a weird quirk of the AI that you can exploit to beat them. But that's like just kind of whatever.
But it's a video game. That's kind of just like video gaming.
Yeah.
You play it and you get good at it, and then you eventually find out flaws in it and you exploit them to be even better at the game.
It's not a visual, it's not a very entertaining idea to get explained to you.
No, that's why video games are something you play.
It's like, yeah, it's a text. It's like a text-based Let's Play. You're like, what kind of book is this? But no, the issue is that it's really nakedly the exact same plot structure and mechanics as National Treasure and the Da Vinci Code book and all the other books written by Dan Brown, like Angels and Demons and so on, and
the idea
Hells,
is just
something.
Yeah, it's the kind of mystery where you gotta go and
we gotta save
this.
Yeah, we gotta save this thing from that thing or whatever, and there's an evil government or evil organization that also wants the thing, and we gotta get to it to them first, and we're gonna use all of our weird obscure knowledge about Vatican relics to solve the mystery. Like, and the issue though is that at least in those ones you're kind of like, maybe I learned something from this because it's about reality. But Ready Player One is about fucking bullshit. So like all the challenges are completely
about reality.
But the challenges aren't that you don't learn stuff about the things that you don't learn interesting things about the art that is being brought up over the course of the book. It's a really shallow way of engaging with the stuff, where it's mostly just name dropping stuff for nerd cred. Like he literally just lists off the giant list of things that he knows. And he straight up gatekeeps. Like he's the kind of toxic nerd that gatekeeps hobbies. Like he's such a piece of shit. There's nothing good about it. The protagonist of Ready Player One, he fucking gatekeeps all these things.
Well, I mean, the dude is dirt poor. He has to gatekeep because it's the only thing he actually feels he has value in. Otherwise, what makes him any different from like literally everybody else? He's just a nobody. He's a nobody whose inability to make real friends has benefited him this one time in his entire life.
It's also like distressingly, it's like distressingly in character to listen to the audiobook, because the audiobook is read by Will Wheaton.
Excuse me. It is?
Yeah, the audiobook is read by Will Wheaton, and the whole thing pretty much the whole thing pretty much just feels like Will Wheaton's character from the Guild. Yeah. Like that, it's like him, because that's the guy from the Guild, who I'll remind everyone is the villain is basically the protagonist of Ready Player One. And yeah, it's there's no arc as far as I can remember in the book, so the protagonist never grows and changes or realizes he was wrong about anything or overcomes anything.
Well, he gets everything he wants.
He just wins. Yeah, he just wins. Like he actively self-sabotages his entire life so that he can overly obsess with nerd shit, and then he's rewarded for it.
I don't have a
and he ultimately is proven right for disregarding everything and just pouring his entire life into an Easter egg hunt and obsessing over 80s culture just because, basically. It's God, that book's a lot to take in. I'm so confused by the idea that Steven Spielberg adapted into a movie.
Steven Spielberg likes to make references.
It's also, that whole thing is the Rooster Teeth podcast's fault. The reason why I ever read that book.
But they recommend it?
Yeah, they recommended it so much over and over again over the course of like years. It kept coming up. I'm like, I should just read this Ready Player One book. It sounds kind of neat. Like the title's kind of neat, and it's recommended a lot.
They're all fucking 80s kids.
And it's like, oh no, it's a terrible story. It's barely a story at times. So much of the time is just spent name dropping how like everyone's avatar is like, oh, the avatar was styled after Han Solo, but he was driving the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and it's like, I don't care, none of this matters, this isn't the story, you're just name dropping a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but he's driving a DeLorean, dude. That's not the Millennium Falcon. Isn't that funny?
I get it, like it's realistic. Like,
no, you don't get it.
Like it's obviously. Like fucking like that's what chat roulette is. I mean, not chat roulette. That's what what's it called? That's what fucking VR chat is. It's just a bunch of people wearing like copyright mascot characters and running around doing bullshit and collecting more fucking copyright material as their stuff. Like, I get it. But like, if you were gonna write a story about VR chat, it'd be about something interesting happening in VR chat, not just obsessing over the concept of VR chat existing. Because it's just not that interesting. Cool. It's just not that interesting that a bunch of people are using avatars based on copyright materials and just fucking explaining what all of those are over and over again. That's not a story. I've never regretted reading a book more.
Wow.
I usually read stuff that's like decently recommended, and there's a decent chance it'll be a good story. And like I come away with something, or it's like fan service, some kind of like thing that's tied to like a thing I already like, so it's just kind of a win. Or it's like some kind of like literature or a recommended thing, or like I'm getting through my bucket list of like shit that everyone's supposed to read or whatever. Or like authors I know I'll probably like, but like this one was just like, what a fucking no value story. It's such garbage. It feels impossible how garbage Ready Player One is.
But on the bright side,
I can only assume that everyone who's ever liked it just read it completely uncritically and it was just a vague like comfort blanket, and that's all it, and they just kind of like just had it wash over them and didn't really particularly engage with it.
Thinking? What is...
Which like I get it, people just do that. It's like watching a Transformers movie.
At some point
people just do it.
Look, I watch a lot of fucking garbage in my life.
Yeah.
And I have to say, there is no reason to turn your brain off. You should never let that, don't ever let that die. Because the moment you start feeling like, I just have to turn my brain off to enjoy something. No, that you just have to expect better from your mediums. Like, you just have to expect better. There's no... Like that's the why I was arguing or being upset about the stupid love show that I'm watching. I've watched so much romance, and there are some actually good ones, but there are so many fucking bad ones because romance is such a lazy fucking genre. People just show up to it like, haha, they kiss, closed a book, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Did you write have you ever been in love? It's like, no. Oh, okay, well, great. Glad you took me through this journey.
Maybe someday.
A girl liked my comment on Twitter once. True love. It's like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. Like, this isn't how real people interact in a romantic setting. But then you find little gems, and you're like, oh, there could be good things. People just make a lot of shit. Like, So there's no, I don't get the idea of just turn your brain off and watch something, because that just sounds to me like you're wasting your time watching shit. I don't know.
The inability to turn things off is like a problem sometimes. There's been experiences where like I'm in a room with people watching reality TV and I'm just kind of squirming, trying not to say anything.
Oh, I have that exact same problem. That's
because I can straight up spot like the editing tricks they're using to lie about what's happening in the sequence, like in real time, and I'm just like, Argh!
Yeah. I'm not allowed. Well, before,
it's like, I'm like, that's not continuity. They broke continuity. They're fucking editing this to lie and they're adding pretend drama or pretend stakes in post via voiceover that didn't even happen in the actual like thing we're watching right now. Like the supposed worrying thing that was supposed to be worked up right now that they're going to use to do a cliffhanger for the commercial break, and then like all that shit, it literally didn't happen. They made it up. It's so frustrating. And
it's like just a show. It's just for fun. It's
and
fine.
That stuff is
Don't
peak turn off your brain, by the way, because like so much of reality TV is like, how do we stretch 10 minutes of content to be 22 minutes of video? And so part of how they do it is they just replay the same things over and over again. It's like one of the things they'll do is every single commercial break they do a fucking cliffhanger about something that's going to happen later, but then you find out that the thing they're cliffhangering isn't even like the thing they're teasing for later doesn't even happen in the next chunk of the show. It happens like several segments later, or sometimes literally doesn't happen at all. But also every time they come back from a commercial break, even though it's been like 2 minutes, they then recap the last minute of what happened before the commercial break again. So like so much of watching a reality TV show is watching the same scenes over and over and over again. Like sometimes a big thing that happens later in an episode will have been teased throughout the episode and shown as a sting before the commercial break like 4 times. You're just like, what the fuck is this editing? I hate it.
That's before when I used to be allowed to visit my grandparents, that would be the problem, is that my grandma just loves to watch shitty reality TV shows, but I can't quietly sit there and watch. Like Naya could definitely attest to this. We watched like some reality show where they went traveling around the world on Netflix, and the guy, it's just some, just some typical fucking white guy, like, I'm just gonna go visit random cultures, and he showed up to a place and he was like, everyone is doing weird things. Like, did you ask them what they're doing, or did you just say it's weird? And then like the next scene, it shows him walking up to somebody and asking why. It's like, then why the fuck did you say it? Like, why did you fucking say that? You acted like it was weird, and then you just straight showed you didn't fucking know, and then you asked them why they were doing it. Like, why are you like this? They're just like, that's just how the show works. It's like, no, that's unacceptable. Just fucking ask the question and then show the answer. You don't need to build suspense. I'm not sitting at the edge of my fucking seat here like, why are they killing chickens? Is it some kind of ritual? Is the world gonna end? I need to fucking know right now. Just, could you ask?
It reminds me of the History Channel approach, where like every single non-white structure that's impressive in any way is always mysterious and unexplainable, and it must have been aliens.
Right. Like no one questions how the Tower of Notre Dame or the Notre Dame Church.
They're like,
how could
they have ever built this? They're not white.
How did these brown people build anything?
Every fucking world wonder that comes from brown people is like mysterious and unexplainable and must have been built by aliens.
Yeah, like
it's like that's fucking like it's one of those things that you just kind of, it's like the background noise when you're growing up and you don't question it that much, but then one day it hits you at a certain age and you're like, wait, what the fuck? What the fuck are you insinuating here?
Yeah, and then you're kind of wondering, like, wait, are you assuming that brown people can't build anything without white people telling them what to build?
or the insinuation is that they couldn't have ever accomplished anything like that without aliens doing it for them, which is the fucked up racist part. But the extra weird distress, like, kind of hilarious self-own that comes from this logic line is the idea that everyone on the planet is cool with aliens except white people. Like the aliens don't like white people. They don't want to visit. They only want to visit everyone but the white people, which is like a self-own that's really hardcore. It's like, oh, you guys don't have aliens? It's weird.
Well,
Yeah,
I wonder whether they'll like you.
Yeah, all my ancestors.
It's like up there was like, weird, my dog
everything.
normally loves people. Why don't the aliens like you, white people?
It is, I remember when I watched, like, that line of thought kicked in for me when I watched Ancient Aliens. And I took a second, I was like, wait, how come no one ever fucking questions stupid, weird Europe, like, Roman shit? I never seen a single person, like, how did they build this statue of Zeus? It's so fucking big. Like, it had to have been aliens, right? And they're like, nah, there's a bunch of white people with slaves. It's like, oh, that's the thing that was weird.
Even when white people build things, it's built by brown people.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I was like, oh, right, because we knew that brown people built it because we told them to. We don't know how brown people built things we didn't tell them to, because that's crazy. How the fuck did they do it? Like, how did they come up with the idea of a pyramid without white people drawing a triangle?
It's such an astonishing like failure of imagination that's so hard to reconcile. And like when you're a kid, you don't know to question it, so you're like not sure what to make of what they're saying.
Well, as a kid, you don't think it's racist. You think it's cool. You're like, oh, fuck, aliens.
Yeah,
came
you're
and
like,
showed them
whoa,
something?
aliens. But then you're older, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Why is this said so much? The implications of this entire line of thought are really distressing.
And then you look and you find out the History Channel is actually a pretty racist channel. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Wait a second.
But like on the topic of reality TV, the one that always stands out to me, and I've probably told you the story before, but it just fucks with me, is like one of those ones where they like, it was I think it was Pawn Stars.
Yeah, the one where they're digging out the hole in the backyard.
Yeah, they're digging out the hole in the backyard, and there's this promise that like there's gonna be like some sort of really cool like fucking.
He's like, I know something's buried out here.
Some crazy antique car is gonna be back there. It's so crazy, and then they start digging out there, and they're only finding motorcycle parts. And they're like, oh my god, was me buying this area on a tip, a bust? Is this whole thing gonna end badly? I don't know. Rising, swelling music, drama, cut to commercial. Then come back from commercial, drama, re-explain the drama again in case you forgot in 3 minutes. And then when they finish explaining it, they're like, oh my god, what's that? We're finding pieces of the car now. And so they start finding the car and the motorcycle. So now they found two things in the backyard. Crazy. But like over the course of this, you can tell that like they just have two separate junk piles, one with car parts and one with motorcycle parts, and they were finding both of them the whole time. And you can, in particular, when they start finding the car after the commercial break, the hole is shallower than it was before the commercial break. Because they clearly rewinded back to when they first started finding car parts, and are implying they're now finding the car parts, like they were buried deeper than the motorcycle parts or whatever. But it's like, no, you just found both of them the whole time, but you needed drama for your show, so you manufactured it by just lying about the situation, in voiceover mostly, and dramatic music to imply that there was like this chance that you weren't going to get the thing that was the whole reason you were there. And it's like, and they just had the two junk piles in two different directions, so that based on how the angle they filmed at, you'd only be able to see one of them at a time. But the giveaway was the fact that the fucking hole got shallow again after the commercial break, to show that they were clearly filming two separate storylines in parallel and cutting back and forth between the two of them. But then they split them to be before and after the commercial break to manufacture drama that didn't exist. Because they just needed to try to figure out how to make this interesting, and they did so by just lying.
Yeah. Well, it's not a lie, Keith. They did find motorcycle parts, and it was worrisome that it wasn't car parts.
Oh my god.
But yeah, they take like just a smell, like a tiny little whiff of conflict, and turn it into like a fucking tsunami.
Like they whip it the hell up.
Yeah, they're like, all right, it's gonna destroy this man's life, and it's like, it's just a car part. It's like, yeah, but you know, it's like, okay.
And I've also seen so many episodes of reality TV where they do stingers that are teasing what's gonna happen next at the commercial break, and then not only does it not happen in the next chunk, it just never happens in the episode. like it only is used as a teaser to imply some kind of drama, and it just never happens in the episode. And I'm like, what the fuck? Doesn't this bother people?
I remember I remember watching an episode of Pawn Stars specifically, and they do the tension, the high tension thing where it's like, oh shit, this guy came in wanting to sell baseball cards for like $600.
That's
Turns
a
out
crime.
they're only worth like $5, and they do this like tense fucking cut music where it's like, I brought these, where they're like, hi, my name's Tony. I brought these cards in. I found them in this basement that's totally not my dead relative's basement that I just shifted through when they died. I found these cards. I think they're worth like $600. And they do the thing where the guy looks at them and he looks at the cards and he's like, I'm going to bring in an expert. And the expert comes in, like literally has to drive and all the way down here and is like, is like, okay, well, I looked at the cards. I don't think they're worth $600. It's like, dun, 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 and it like zooms in on the guy's face, and the guy's like, what do you mean they're not worth $600? And it's like, buddy, you could have went on like fucking ebay.com, typed in your stupid fucking cards and found out how much they're worth. Why did you waste everyone's time? And then I look at the Pawn Star guy, I'm like, why do you fucking waste everyone's time? Why'd you bring this guy down here to check cards you could have checked eBay for? And
you're showing it on your show.
Yeah, like this is interesting. And then the next person comes, it's like, I found a ring. Oh God, I can see why you showed the card guy. That was probably the most interesting fucking thing today. Like,
it's been a few hours, so it's probably about time to call it.
Yeah.
But I switched to my hunter to show the armada of foxes.
I'm trying to run over to that place you flew over to away from me, so I could try to
the turtle village.
Yeah, but I'm trying to like get all the fly points here, and that's the last one I need.
Yeah.
And then I'll have this entire map and every quest completed.
He's dancing. Yay.
Are you a little fox?
Yeah, I think it's Alt Z. Yeah, Alt Z hides interface. I can just show this. So this is the big grind. I got my fox character that I had to unlock, and my fox mount that I had to unlock, and then my fox pets that I just had to go get them, and then my fox cosmetic pet that I had to unlock too via giant grind. So there's just this bizarre army of orange foxes running around.
But you did it.
And this little guy dances sometimes, and that's fun.
And no one can tell you otherwise.
I took that dumb picture where he's dancing like towards the fox mount's like face, and it's actually kind of cute. Oh yeah, because that's the one I sent you.
Yeah. Poor fox that you're mounted on. It's just like, why?
That's a nice little picture.
Oh no, I haven't done any of the quests for these turtle people.
Don't speak to me. Don't speak to me, my son or my sons again. By the way,
again.
You want to know of a fun fact, Andrew?
Sure.
About how this game renders graphics?
Uh-oh.
Because this is kind of fucking hilarious, actually.
This doesn't sound like a fun fact at all.
I should show the example by going to Dalaran, because that's where I took the picture in the first place. So, how do I put this? So in GIMP, if you take a screenshot or whatever, one of the features you can do is you can auto adjust the contrast.
Yeah.
Like brightness and contrast. You can just press auto, and it'll kind of do this like maximum like contrast where it like normalizes the values so that the darkest thing is black on the screen and the lightest thing on the screen is white, and everything in between is like the vibrant spectrum of what's in between that. And if you're lucky, that can be like an instant like fix. It can just instantly make your screenshot or picture look pretty nice. And if you're unlucky, it garbles it up, and then you hit Control Z and you try to adjust it manually instead.
Okay.
So here's the trick. Here's the fun fact, Andrew. You know that screenshot I sent you?
Yeah.
That was taken at night.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, look at it again. It'll kind of ruin you a little bit. That is a nighttime screenshot in Dalaran. The way that Dalaran, and maybe all of WoW, but especially at least Dalaran, simulates nighttime is by just putting like a transparent, like monochrome cut filter over the screen. So like it just puts like a dark blue haze over everything that is so equal in value that it can be removed flatly from the entire image to just restore the daylight.
The fuck?
It's like up there with like when they
What?
shoot scenes for a television show, but they're doing it cheaply and they're shooting during the day, but it's supposed to be a night scene, so they turn the whole screen blue.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's actually how this area is rendered.
It looks like day. What
yeah,
the
it looks
hell?
exactly like daylight. Like the sky is obviously switched out for a nighttime sky, but everything around you is like shadowy and blue, and you're like, whoa, it's nighttime, Azeroth. But
Yeah, but even the-
But I can auto adjust it to make it instantly look like daytime, and it doesn't look like an edited screenshot to trick you or anything. It just looks like an authentic daytime screenshot. That's just really funny
That
to me.
makes zero sense. What the hell? What?
It's so
oh,
funny
you
to me.
can, yeah, because there's I can see that like the foxes are a little darker.
Yeah, there's the screenshot for the video and whatnot in the stream.
What the hell? That's super weird. That's super weird.
It looks so perfectly like it's daytime, and it's just not. That is a nighttime screenshot. It was so funny to me when I hit auto adjust, because I was frustrated. I kept wanting to make my stupid joke picture for my wolf armada, but I kept only logging on at nighttime because that's when I get on WoW, and I'm like, fuck. I want to take a good screenshot that looks better. So just as a lark, I threw it into GIMP and I auto adjusted the color, and it looked like this. And I was like, what? How? How does it look fucking exactly like it's just taken during the day? That tripped me the fuck out. That tripped me out so hard.
That's tripping me out. I can't
That was
stop
editing
trying to figure out
shenanigans
why.
with this dude guy. You really need to update these foxes. It's really fucking staggering. Like the Volpera look really good because they're brand new, and then the wolf mount is from last expansion, so it looks pretty good too. But then these poor the foxes, but these poor foxes that you can tame as hunter pets are still, they seem to still be the 2006 character model, and it's like staggering. They look so lifeless and terrifying. They look like it's really funny that because this MMO's been running for so long, it features assets that are essentially 2 console generations apart from each other. Like that's just so fucking funny to see in action. Like sometimes it's really staggering because you just have them around you in one group of people. Like, what am I looking at? One of my favorite tricks they did, somebody just came by with so I can see it. One of my favorite dumb tricks they did is that they have the flying mount for the horde is that one weird that weird sky lion thing with the scorpion tail, and to mask how outdated it was looking, they made a new version of it that just has a mask. Because the character model is so outdated, they just put a mask over its face so you don't notice how distressing its face is, and that makes it look better. One of the funniest details. I think I have them in here. Well, that's another example of that. Oh yeah, my armored brown bear. Oh my god. Yeah, that bear I showed you before with the steampunk goggles. Those are newer armor and goggles plastered over the like vanilla WoW ancient ass bear character model. It's actually really funny how the armor is higher resolution than the rest of them. And there's the Wind Rider. The Wind Rider looks really old, and so they put armor on him to distract from that. And the armor is higher res and newer than the surrounding mount, because the original one looks like that. It's bizarre. Well,
Did you send it to me?
send what to you? What's up?
I was seeing something. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was checking something that was sent to me.
Yeah, I think it's about time for us to get off. It's been 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Probably
Next session's gonna be a short one.
Yeah, we don't really have much left to do we?
No, just like a level and a half. But we're not gonna get tonight. It's too much. It's too much. Good night, everybody.
Oh,
Go
no.
away.
Go away.